love him or hate him, listen, at some point, you've got to take emotions out of the way you view things. And ladies and gentlemen, if you learn one thing from listening to me, Victor Armendariz, you've got to learn to take emotions out of everything you're looking at, especially when it comes to politics. Because if you can't take emotion, if you rule by, and not just politics, but if you're ruling your daily life by emotions, and let me tell you, you're going to make life hard. And life can be hard on its own. You don't need to make it harder. So trust me on that. So, all right, folks, I got to open. So I'm going to show you and demonstrate why you can love the Trump administration. I tell you, this guy, Trump, never stops, and he's so good at turning things back on the Democrats. Now, if those of you who are listening, those of you who are listeners of my show, you know who I am, which is Victor Armendariz, the Mexican not afraid to be American, filling in for the Kimmer. Those of you who know and listened to me in the past, I have said, and you hear me often say, especially when there's a Democrat in charge. So when we had 4 years of stumbling Dementia Joe and cackling Harris, I said show after show after show, be careful what you wish for. And I was speaking directly to Democrat voters. Be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you are asking for. Be careful what you get implemented. Be careful the precedents that you set. Because back in the last 4 years when you had Biden and cackling Harris, I told you, you may like Biden and Harris. You may like, as a voter, you may like what they're doing, but at some point they're not going to be in power. At some point, it's not going to be them. And everything they do to let's just say their opponents. Let's say if you're a voter for Biden and Harris, everything your team does to, say, my team, because I was not a supporter of Biden and Harris, so everything they do to me and to the half the country that didn't vote for them can be turned on them when they're out of power. And so I try all the time to tell you, this is why you got to take emotions out of things. This is why you've got to just look and say, okay, is this policy really helping people? If it's not, have the courage to say, we were wrong about this policy. It felt good, it sounded good, and we thought it would be good, but now that it's been implemented and we can see it's not really doing what we thought it would do, it's not helping people, it's actually hurting people, you should have the courage to say, hey, I was wrong about that, let's change it. But right now, we're too tribalistic. You're either on Team D or Team R, and I think the Democrats, I think, are a little bit worse at this. They just can't at all say they've done anything wrong. I mean, it blows my mind. And I'll honestly say, my experience in following politics, most politicians don't want to say they did something wrong. And what a shame that is. You know, if you've got the courage to stand up in front of the American people and say, you know what, I had good intentions with this, but we're going to have to shift course. Now, there's one guy out there that actually does know how to shift course, and that's President Trump. Now, he may not come out and say he was wrong, but he does shift, and he'll change on the fly if he has to. Donald Trump, whatever you say about him, he has great instincts. And so his instincts kicked in again, which is what I want to point out as I start the show today. So the United States is suing, so the Trump administration, basically, it's his DOJ. And let me do this real quick. If you don't understand the way the executive branch works, this is how, and all you need to do is read Article 1, Article 2, Article 3 of the United States Constitution. All right? And you'll see where I'm going with this. The executive branch control anything that falls under the purview of the executive branch is headed up by the commander-in-chief. The commander-in-chief, also known as the President of the United States, also can be known as the CEO of the executive branch. The president can do, he oversees the executive branch. He can fire, he can hire, do whatever he wants. And you can look at, you can doubt me, you can argue with me, and you're more than welcome to call in 404-741-1230. In fact, if you disagree with me, you'll go to the front of the line, 404-741-1230. But you can call in, you can challenge me on this. But if you read Article 1, Article 2, Article 3, it very clearly specifies the roles of the president, and it says a president shall be elected, and that president heads the executive branch. And so when I refer to the DOJ as, it's the Trump administration. That doesn't mean that Trump is telling the DOJ to weaponize itself against his opponents like Biden did. Biden did it. Obama did it. I'm telling you, this is another example of how the Democrats, I told you yesterday, the Democrats are the kings of projection. They will tell you that the Republicans are doing the very thing that they are doing, have done, or will do, or want to do. And one of the things that the Democrats have done constantly is under Obama, look what the IRS went after conservative people. They went after conservative companies. They went after Tea Party affiliate people. And that was a IRS that was weaponized by government. And that government was the Obama administration. And then along comes Biden. And look at what Biden did. I mean, I could go through a litany of list of what Biden did to citizens of this country, let alone what they tried to do to their political opponent in Donald Trump. So they weaponized DOJ. So even though the executive branch oversees the DOJ, that doesn't mean that they're going to weaponize it, or they should weaponize it, which is what the Democrats do. Now, Trump's not doing that. In fact, the greatest example of it is when Trump when he won his first term, when he went into the executive office, he went into the Oval Office in 2016, which was really 2017. Was it 2017? Yeah, 2017, January. So when he took office, he could have easily said, I want my DOJ, or he could have assigned a special counsel, and they could have gone and investigated Hillary Clinton. Everybody knows Hillary Clinton was not a clean person when it comes to that whole Russiagate mess. There's plenty of examples of things that Hillary Clinton did wrong. But you know what? And there were people on Donald Trump's team that told him, we should prosecute. You knew what Donald Trump said? And this never gets reported. But Donald Trump said, no, she's the wife of a former president. I'm not going to play that game. I'm not going to go after her. She was an opponent. I beat her at the ballot box. That's what matters. And I'm not going to. Donald Trump said this. Now I'm paraphrasing. But there were people in the first administration that wanted him to go after Hillary. They wanted Trump to do it, and he didn't do it because he said, you know what? I'm not going to do that. She's the wife of a former president. Now, just because they don't live together and they don't, I shouldn't spread rumors. You can see what an example Trump set. But do you think the Democrats followed that example? No. As soon as the Democrats got back into the White House with Biden and cackling Harris, what did they do? They went after Trump with a tenacity that, boy, if the Democrats would care about the American citizen with the tenacity that they went after Trump, trying to put him in jail, and everybody associated with him they tried to put in jail. I mean, come on. You had the Democrats weaponizing the DOJ. They weaponized the FBI. They've weaponized the IRS. And this is awful because those are organizations of the people, because the government is of the people. Don't ever forget this government. It's supposed to be of the people, by the people, for the people. And so we should never allow politicians to weaponize our agencies against us, because this is our government. So why do you think there's a clause in the Constitution that says whenever oh my gosh, I'm going to get this wrong. I might have to get Flounder to get me a quote on this. But there is that part in the Constitution that clearly states if the means are I'm just going to get this wrong, Flounder, but basically it says if our government turns into tyranny, we have the duty to overthrow it. And what they're meaning is at the box office. But if it goes beyond that, that's the real reason we have a Second Amendment, and I'll get into that at some point. But I say all this to get to the point when I'll get to when I come back from this break of something that the Biden administration did. They politicized it in the government, and now Trump's using it against them, and they can't take it. And we'll be right back.
Did you miss Neil Bortz?
I am shocked.
Don't worry. He's live anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
Oh, that radio show.
Did traffic cause you to miss some of the Kimmer Show? Get it on the app.
It's all the kids talk about on Monday at school.
With anytime show replays from the Kimmer, Bortz, The Morning Extra, Clay and Buck, and so much more. Plus local headlines and breaking news. Grab the Extra 106.3 app now and start streaming.
I'm Pete Davis. Pro and college football is well into the season, and Underdog is the best place to make picks and win money all season long. And the best part, you can play right now here in Georgia. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite player is going to go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, passing yards, interceptions, and more. Get your picks right. You can win up to 5,000 times your cash. This weekend, we've got games like the Cowboys at the Jets. Two very interesting teams for various reasons. It's simple, it's fun, it keeps me locked into every play. Download the app today. Sign up with promo code 1063 to score $100 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code 1063. Underdog. Make picks. Win money.
Must be 18 plus and present in Georgia. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
Are you looking for something simple but delicious, sweet but also savory? Discover Schumann Farms Sweet Onions. Schumann Farms is a third-generation family farm with the Real Sweet brand sweet onions. Whether you're grilling, sautéing, or simply adding a fresh crunch to your salad, Schumann Farms has you covered. Look for Schumann Farms Real Sweet brand sweet onions at your grocery store and taste the difference for yourself. Schumann Farms, the Georgia family farm growing tradition and the world's sweetest onions.
While fall temperatures are cooling down, the action in the stadium and on the field is really heating up. If you find yourself in hot water from too much celebrating during the game, it's important to know who to call. Call A Second Chance Bail Bonds. We handle bonds for those at the bends to those who celebrate action between the hedges. At A Second Chance, we can have you or your loved one out of jail in a matter of hours. Call A Second Chance 24/7 at 404-BAIL-OUT. That's 404-BAIL-OUT. Or online at atlbail.com.
We're smart, we care. We're Central Heating and Air.
Fall is in the air, and Central Heating and Air Conditioning is making it the perfect time to upgrade your comfort. For a limited time, you get up to $2,100 in rebates and 60 months, 0% financing with approved credit. That's right, savings up front and no interest for 5 whole years. A brand new carrier system from Central delivers dependability, efficiency, and comfort every family deserves. Central Heating and Air Conditioning have set the standard in heating and cooling for over 3 generations. And now's your chance to bring that comfort home with the best savings of the season. These dual incentives don't come around often, so act now. Call 770-GET-HEAT today. That's 770-GET-HEAT. Or visit centralheat.com, centralheat.com. Upgrade your comfort, lock in your savings, and turn to your Atlanta carrier experts. Central Heating and Air Conditioning.
We're smart, we care. We're Central Heating and Air.
Hey, Braves fans, sometimes life throws you a knee-buckling curveball. That's when Truist One Checking steps up to the plate. If you're behind in the count, you won't have to worry about overdraft fees. Plus, eligible clients enjoy a balance buffer for some extra cushion. You'll get a convenient mobile app to keep an eye on things and access to thousands of Truist ATMs. Be ready every inning with Truist One Checking. It's life-ready checking that grows with you. Get Truist One Checking today. Truist Bank. Member FDIC.
Hey, this is Matt from East Cobb. We basically bought our house from our in-laws. It was my wife's childhood home. One of the issues that we've had when we first moved in was our dog in our backyard. It was extremely shaded, could never grow grass back there. We resodded it twice. So ATL Turf Co. did an amazing job with our backyard transformation. They basically created a miniature golf hole. We have a miniature fairway. We also have a miniature little putting green. Consists of about 4 holes, total about 40 yards, so you can definitely work on your short game and your putting. After that transformation that ATL Turf Co. did for us, my father-in-law came and saw his house the way it looked after the fact of we had a putting green and a miniature golf course. Sure enough, he did the same thing with ATL Turf Co. He has a beautiful backyard, wonderful stonework, drainage, and a beautiful practice area for chipping and putting. Check him out online at atlturfco.com.
welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Kimmer Show, but no, I'm not the Kimmer. I'm much smaller. Shorter, I'm much shorter. I am Victor Armendariz. I host a show called Victor Armendariz Show, so if you want to learn more about me, just look me up. Just spell my name correctly, unlike Flounder.
No. Yep, that was my first mistake yesterday.
No, that's okay. We are not perfect. So now, ladies and gentlemen, just spell it correct. It's Victor, Armendariz. You can find me all over social media. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't like social media at all. I think it rots the brain. And look, on my show, or when I'm filling in for anybody like the Kimmer, I'm always going to be honest with you. Always. I'm going to contradict myself because I'm going to ask you to follow me on social media, but then I'm going to tell you that you shouldn't rot your brain on social media. So, and what do I mean by that? Look, folks, if you spend your week glued to social media, look, I understand it. I understand it's a big thing now, but just do this. Make a conscious effort that when you get to the weekend, shut it off. Shut it off. See if you can make it. Start with a Saturday. See if you can make it through a Saturday without checking Facebook, without checking Twitter, without checking the X and all the others. I mean, well, Twitter is X now. So what's the other one? TikTok and all of them. See if you can make it one day. Make it Saturday. See if you can make it through. And I promise you, when you make it through one day, you're going to make it 2 days, and before you know it, you'll be like half the week you'll stay off of social media, and you're going to be a better person for it. Your life is going to be better, and you know what? You'll get to know your family better. So I shouldn't. I know I'm getting off topic here, but I got to tell you this. So I was just in Vegas, and folks, I go to Vegas way too much, and I don't do it because I want to go to Vegas. I have another life. I wasn't always just a talk show host. But I do go to Vegas every now and then, and probably more than I should. But there's a reason for it. So I get up. So I was just out of Vegas 2 weeks ago. I sat one night. So I was there for 6 nights, and that's a long time in Vegas. So I go out and I pick different places to go eat. Flounder?
It's extremely too long for Las Vegas.
Oh my gosh, you are not wrong. You are not wrong. So I try to find a different place to go eat each night. So I went out and I found this place, and it was just like, I'm going to go have a quiet dinner. I go and sit down. It's a little sports bar because I do like to try to catch a soccer game or now that football season is going on, I don't follow it closely, but I try to watch, especially when I'm out having dinner. And the family walked in. Now, look, Media Matters is about to go nuts, so I'll go ahead and apologize. And if I offend you, I apologize. But I'm sitting there, and this family walks in, and I knew immediately. I was like, okay, this family is from Europe. They're from somewhere in Europe, because it was a father, a mother, and a teenage son. And the teenage son came walking in with a purse. Now, look, if you want to wear a purse, I don't care. I wasn't making judgment. I just said, oh, I know they're European. You could just tell. And what they call it a man bag. So he came in with his man bag. So the son sat down, the father sat down, the mother sat down. And the second they sat down, each one of them had their phones out. And for the entire, now look, folks, I had just got my food, so I just began to eat. I watched them sit down. They pulled out their phones. The only time they looked up from their phones is to place their order. They placed their order, went right back to the phones, and then their food came, and they had their phone next to the food, next to their plate. So I hardly saw them say any word. I almost went over to the table and asked them, "Are you guys texting each other?" I mean, I haven't seen you say a word. And that's what I mean about your social media. I mean, I don't think people realize it, but they get so engrossed in it that they're not even talking to their family members. If you're going to dinner, you should be able to put your phone down and, my goodness, look into your wife's face and have a conversation, or look in your son or daughter's face and talk and see what's going on. I mean, it's just something that I see, I do travel quite a bit, so I notice things. Next time you travel, folks, if you're in an airport, just watch what everybody's doing when you walk to the airport. Whether they're standing in line trying to order food, whether they're at a gate sitting waiting to get on a plane, or even in the security line, what are they doing? They're all looking at social media. So I do believe social media is going to rot the brain, but I still want you to follow me. So I will just go ahead and apologize for my hypocrisy. There won't be many times where I exhibit hypocrisy, but that's going to be one of them. So anyway, I appreciate it. Just look me up, Victor Armendariz, and you'll find more about me if you want to learn more. Okay, so have you heard about the FACE Act? if you don't know about the FACE Act, you can look it up. It's an easy Google search or DuckDuckGo search. You'll hear me, folks, refer to DuckDuckGo. If you don't know what DuckDuckGo is, that should be your search engine. DuckDuckGo's not going to follow you. It's not going to inundate you with all kinds of articles or ads. It's not going to do that. It's not going to do what Google does. I mean, Google they get algorithms all over you as soon as you put something in Google, but DuckDuckGo's not going to do that. And Google will also try to push you to the left. They're going to list left-leaning articles first, whatever you search. DuckDuckGo's not going to do that. They're going to put out, okay, here's the articles, and you make your own. You read them, and you make your decision. So go look up. If you don't know about the FACE Act, go look up the FACE Act. This was an act that was put, and I don't remember. I should know this, and my apology on who passed this, but this was an act that was passed quite a few years ago, and the Biden administration used the FACE Act to go out and arrest. Now, you can, again, anything I tell you on this show, you can verify for yourself. I'm not going to lie to you, but I'm going to tell you things that many of you may not want to hear. I know the Democrats listening aren't going to want to hear this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. The Biden administration and Kathleen Harris used the FACE Act to go after, and they arrested. At midnight, they went into the home of an elderly woman who was bound to a wheelchair, dragged her out of her home, arrested her, and she was sentenced to 2 years in prison. An elderly woman who's confined to a wheelchair was pulled out of her home in the night, middle of the night, and arrested, and then trial, and the judge gave her 2 years. All of this based on the FACE Act. Now, what did she do? What was her crime? She was praying in front of an abortion center. Now, I'm not going to have an abortion. I am not going to have a conversation about abortion. In fact, you're rarely going to hear my show talk about abortion because that's a state issue, and I think it's been solved. But this lady, this conversation for now is about the FACE Act. So what they did, they arrested this lady, and all she was guilty of was praying in front of an abortion clinic. She wasn't obstructing anyone. She wasn't screaming at anyone. She wasn't telling anyone not to go in. She was just praying in front of an abortion clinic. And they used the FACE Act. So what does the FACE Act say? The FACE Act basically says, and I'm summarizing, that if you are blocking or causing violence at a place of, let's just say a place of business, then you can be arrested. You can be arrested under the FACE Act. Well, she wasn't blocking anything. She wasn't causing violence. She was just merely praying. So according to the Biden administration and to Kathleen Harris, they felt, well, if you're an elderly lady confined to a wheelchair and you're sitting in front of an abortion clinic and all you're doing is praying for these souls that might be lost, apparently that's a crime to the Biden administration, to the Democrats, because not one Democrat stood up for this lady. Not one Democrat that I can remember stood up for this lady. And again, this was under the Biden Kathleen Harris administration. They arrested this poor elderly lady, and all she did was pray. And that's not a crime, folks. But to the Biden administration, it was. And then, of course, a left-wing judge who was appointed, I don't remember, it was probably an Obama-appointed judge, and then that judge sentenced her to 2 years, an elderly woman confined to a wheelchair. Well, this brings me to how I open the show with what I always tell Democrats. I've for years on my radio show, I have told Democrats, listen, be careful what you wish for, be careful what you do, and be careful the precedents that you set. Because everything you do today as a Democrat, everything you do to the people today can be done to you tomorrow. So everything a Democrat administration can do to try and hurt the populace or just put their agenda forward can be used against them when they're out of power. And see, the problem Democrats have right now is ever since the first administration of Obama, the Democrats have felt like they would never lose again. Trust me when I tell you, and again, folks, don't doubt me. Just don't do it. When Obama had his first administration and then going into his second administration, and after he won that second term, the Democrat Party thought they would never lose power again. And you can go back and look. They said, the demographics are changing. Everything's in our favor. The white people are reducing in numbers. The minorities are increasing in numbers. People are on our side. We've got the media on our side. We've got everything. Even businesses are capitulating to us now. So we're never going to lose power. Folks, let me tell you something. If there's one thing that's certain other than taxes and death, It's there is no permanent power in Washington. There just isn't. There just isn't. And that's the problem the Democrats have, is they always think they're never going to lose, ever since Obama. And then when Biden won and cackling Harris, I'm not going to debate on how they won. Let's just say they won. They thought they were never going to lose power. They thought cackling Harris would walk right into this. And of course she didn't. So, my goodness, this is flying by. Boy, good radio flies by. All right, folks, listen. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the FACE Act when we get back, and then we'll move on to lots of other things.
Stream Atlanta's only conservative voice anywhere you go with the Extra 106.3 app, now equipped with Apple CarPlay. That means you'll always have Extra's crystal clear HD stream right on your dashboard no matter where you are. Download the all-new Extra 106.3 app now and start streaming.
What to highlight? Peach State Windows. Well, how about the windows deals? My buddy Jeff and his wife, known him, I've worked with him 25 years ago, first time. Anyway, Peach State Windows, highlighting those windows deal, double hung vinyl special deals and energy #1, no leak type of stuff. I don't know what they call it, but they've got it all. And by the way, they have vendors from all over the country to make sure you have exactly what you need designed for your house. And it's not just the windows, although that's the name of the place. The siding, I'm a Hardy Plank fan, and that's what I got so many years ago. Anyway, they've got it all for you, making your outside of your house look so much better. Here's the number, 770-485-8011, peachstatewindows.com.
Backyard, ballpark, or campsite. If there's fire, you can grill at Southern Thunder Barbecue School. Our Grill with the Pros class puts you in the action. In just 4 hours, you'll master steakhouse quality steaks, thick-cut pork chops, chicken quarters, veggie kebabs, and wings. A hands-on training under the tutelage of barbecue grand champions. When the cooking is complete, you'll feast. Don't just grill like a pro. Register now at southernthunderbbq.com. That's southernthunderbbq.com.
Advisory services offered through Master Plan Retirement Consultants, Inc., a registered investment advisory in the state of Georgia. Insurance, tax, and commodity services offered through Fricks & Associates, Inc., DBA Master Plan Retirement Consultants. The aforementioned are affiliated companies.
Retirement means different things to different people. Some folks want to travel the world. Some folks want to spend more time with grandkids. For me, I'm looking forward to spending more time with my guitar. Whether extravagant and robust or simple and cozy, every retirement needs a plan. You wouldn't take a trip without directions. You have to know where you are before you know where you're going. Master Plan Retirement Consultants have helped many like you plan for their own retirement. Not only does Master Plan help you create the roadmap, they join you on the journey. So whether you want to travel the world, become a pickleball champ, or just looking for a good porch, a sturdy rocking chair, and an acoustic guitar, remember to plan well, because the destination is worth it. Visit masterplanretired.com to schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Hey, it's Los. We're here with Tom Mitchell, the honest car guy. Tom, I've learned a lot about this car buying process from you. Is that typical of most of the clients you've worked with?
Yeah, I'm finding out it's even more typical. I mean, people are learning more and more, and maybe it's because I overload them with information because I want to be able to sleep at night. I want to make sure you know everything.
Do I have to have a particular make and model in mind when I call you, or is it just open to anything I want?
It's open. I can get any make, any year, any model.
I might be looking to trade in my vehicle. Can you accommodate that as the honest car guy?
For sure. I mean, we love it when people want to trade in cars because honestly, it's best for you to trade in a car. Why? Because you get a tax savings.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the honest car guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
Extra 106.3 personalities aren't afraid to tell it like it is.
Without Donald Trump, nothing that's going on would be happening right now. Donald Trump is changing the world.
And you'll never hear us spew that violent rhetoric from the left. So don't be afraid to tell it like it is, because we're happy to have you as part of the Extra community.
I particularly like Donald Trump's actions in getting illegal aliens the hell out of this country.
Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my wonderful listeners. Mi gente. As my dad used to say, mi gente. Everybody's mi gente. Unless they don't like us, then they're not our gente anymore. That just means my people, my people. And I told you, my dad always used to, he'd come home. We had some really good marks, good grades when we were growing up, me and my siblings. My dad would say, oh, man, you are my people. And when the minute we came home with a bad grade, the second it was a bad grade, my poor mom, my dad would look at us and go, oh, you are your mama's people. My poor mom, I tell you, if it wasn't for my mom, I wouldn't be the person I am today. I got to tell you. My dad set a great example. I mean, coming here from another country, not knowing English, but not only did he learn English and work 3-4 jobs at a time, and man, retired CFO. Just a wonderful example of seeing the American dream. I mean, I grew up watching the American dream, but make no mistake. I mean, my dad, he showed us how to work hard and how to love this country and achieve things and achieve what you want. But it was my mom that was the ruled the house and ran the house. And really made us really instill the values that we have. So they were a great team. They won't admit it, but they are. I don't think one could last without the other, and they won't admit that either. But they've been together for 60-something years. So I shouldn't say that. They're going to kill me. Okay. All right. So listen what the Trump administration did. And this is what just cracks me up every time Trump does something like this, because the Democrats are never going to learn. It's amazing to me how the party of today, and again, folks, the Democrat Party is not, I understand. I do. I understand, because I've had family members that thought they were Democrats forever. And I was told all growing up that I had to be a Democrat. You got brown skin, man. You got to be a Democrat. I was told these things for so long. But today's Democrat Party is not the party of Kennedy. It's just not that party anymore. JFK, John F. Kennedy, which many of you out there who support the Democrat Party, you talk about JFK all the time. He couldn't be in today's Democrat Party. So that ought to tell you where today's Democrat Party is. And so what I love about Trump here is once again, the Democrats are never going to learn. So the Biden administration used the FACE Act, and they went after some poor little old lady that's stuck in a wheelchair, and they put her in jail. Well, now the Trump administration is using the very same act. They're just using the precedent that Biden set, the precedent that Biden and Kamala set. Trump is using it now because the Justice Department just sued participants in a confrontation at a New Jersey synagogue that developed into violence. So who was the people? Who were the people that were protesting and caused violence at this synagogue? Well, it was none other than pro-Palestinian demonstrators. So these pro-Palestinian demonstrators, and let me tell you something. If you're a pro-Palestinian, so-called Palestinian demonstrator, you are pro-Hamas. And if you are pro-Hamas, you are pro-terrorist. Now, if you have the brains to come to me and say, Victor, I want to talk about the people who live in Gaza, I want to talk about the people who call themselves Palestinians, then I will give an ear to that. But if you come to me and you can't separate and say, I want to take up for some poor people, but we got to do something about Hamas. We have to stop Hamas. Hamas is an evil terrorist group. They're running the Palestinian people into the ground. They kill their people. They starve their people. And yes, if you consider yourself a Palestinian, you are under the rule of Hamas because the Palestinian people elected Hamas. And Hamas is a terrorist organization. And right now, every one of these pro-Palestinian demonstrators, or most of them, are waving around Hamas flags and Palestinian flags, which is basically the Hamas flag. So I have no place in my heart for anyone who's going to stand up and scream and wave the flag of a terrorist organization that kills babies, kills mothers and fathers in front of the children. The awful things that they did on October 7th. And listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you're out there and you're wondering how people can deny October 7th and how people can just pretend it didn't happen, trust me, I know some of them. I really do. I had, well, again, I was in Vegas and I met with some business owners, and they actually looked at me in the face and they told me, no, October 7th never happened. Israel did it to themselves, and they blamed Hamas. There are people that actually believe that. But again, this is coming from a part of the country that teaches hate to 5-year-olds. I mean, it's just, it's sad. But so here we are in New Jersey, and you got a synagogue. And those of you who don't know what a synagogue is, that's the place of worship for Jewish people. That's the Jewish church. And these pro-Palestinian demonstrators, they were out there in front of this synagogue in New Jersey, and they were just doing what they do best, causing violence and perpetrating violence on innocent people. You just had some innocent. They don't know how these Jewish people vote. They don't know. And come on, if history is any lesson, most Jewish people vote Democrat. I don't know why. Listen, folks, I have my closest friends are Jewish, and not a one of them would vote Democrat today. Not a one of them. But somehow look at what New York City's about to do. We're going to talk about that later. And let me tell you, a Democrat can't really win in New York if it were not for the Jewish people. There's a ton of Jewish voters in New York City, and for some reason they're getting ready to vote for their own demise. It just blows my mind. But here you have innocent Jewish people in New Jersey. These pro-Palestinian demonstrators, so-called demonstrators, they don't know how these people vote. They don't know anything about these people, but all they know is they're going in and all they want to do is worship in their place of worship. And these people went over there and started causing problems. They were blocking them from getting into the synagogue. They were engaging in a coordinated effort to intimidate and disrupt the Jewish worshipers at this religious event. So when you look at the FACE Act, because of what Biden did and because of what Kamala did, the Trump administration was able to turn this around and put it right back on the Democrats, because now they're using the exact steps that Biden and Kamala did. The same thing the Democrats did. Now the Trump administration, or the Trump DOJ, is using it, just following the steps of Biden, following the examples of Kamala, and they're going after this pro-Palestinian group that caused violence and destruction and just was really intimidating and causing some problems in front of this synagogue. So now they're going to possibly go to jail because they were actually causing violence. So see, the little old lady that Biden arrested wasn't blocking anything. She wasn't attacking anyone. My goodness, she was confined to a wheelchair, and all she was doing was praying. But yet the Biden administration said, we're going to use the FACE Act and we're going to arrest her and put her in jail. Well, you can call it tit for tat. You can call it karma. You can call it whatever you want. But you cannot blame the Trump administration for going, hey, if the Biden administration can do, if it's good for the Biden administration, it's good for the Democrats to go after a little old lady who was sitting in a wheelchair and all she was doing was praying, and she wasn't even blocking the door. She wasn't attacking anybody. She wasn't yelling at anybody. If they can use this and go after and arrest her for just sitting there and praying, well, then we will use it. We will follow the example of the Democrats, but we'll actually use it to stop violence. We'll actually use it to prosecute violence. And so they're going to go after and use the FACE Act to go after this pro-Palestinian group. And I just think this is the kind of stuff. And look, there's example after example where the Democrats, they had 4 years with Cackling Harris and the Dementia Joe. And they thought, man, we're never going to lose power, and we'll take whatever, we'll find some antiquated law out there that's on the books, and let's start using it against our opponents. And that's what they did. And the sad thing is the Biden administration had no problem going after citizens of this country. They don't want to go after non-citizens, but they sure will go after citizens. And just because a citizen in this country doesn't vote for you, that doesn't give you the right to go after them and try and punish them. But that's what the Biden administration was all about. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, you're hearing a lot of talk about fascism. You're hearing talk about authoritarianism. You're hearing talk about communism and Nazi this and Nazi that. Well, all of that rhetoric is coming from the left. Now, have you ever heard me refer to the Democrats' policy as being socialist policy or communistic policy or something like that? Yeah, you absolutely. I've talked about the Democrat Party of today. They are the authoritarian wannabe party. Now, I'm not calling them names, and I'm not trying to get people to go out and cause harm to them. The only thing I ask people to do is go to the voting box. And I don't know. Here's why I'm so consistent and why you can trust me, because I want people to get on their feet, and I want them to go vote, and I want them to vote out all these left-wing radical Democrats. But you know what? there's some Republicans I want voted out too. And I'm not afraid to say it. This is why the Victor Armendariz show is not really liked by many politicians. Because I will call you out. I don't care if you got a D by your name or R by your name. Now, in today's world, am I going to go to the polls and vote for Democrats today? No, there's not a Democrat out there that I could vote for. And maybe if you go find somebody like Zell Miller, maybe I could do that. The closest person that's coming to really, and I don't know how he's going to stay a Democrat. And I never thought I would say this because I thought this guy was a moonbat. But Fetterman, Senator Fetterman. Now I disagree with them allowing him to dress the way he wants to dress. This guy really needs to start dressing better. I mean, come on, you're the and listen, folks, I can't stand wearing suits. You're not going to see me. You're lucky I'm wearing pants today. I usually wear shorts and a t-shirt, and that's it. But I think if I were in the halls of the Senate, I wouldn't go on that floor without a suit. Maybe not. You don't have to wear a tie, but wear a suit. I mean, there's so much history, and everyone should respect the halls of the Senate, the halls of just in Congress in general. The halls of Congress in general should be respected. But Fetterman is a guy to keep your eye on, folks. This guy, as he heals more, he's changing more, and he's becoming a more sensible person.
Did you ever think that he would be the face of normalcy for the Democratic Party?
Flounder.
When he was going against Dr. Oz, everyone thought Dr. Oz was obviously the common vote and ended up not being that. And obviously it worked out fine for Dr. Oz. But, I mean, he is the only level-headed person in the Democratic Party right now.
Is that not insane? I mean, this guy couldn't put a sentence together when he ran for the Senate. And now he's the only sensible guy in the Democratic Party.
I mean, remember his opening is like, "Good night, everyone."
Yeah. Oh, maybe we can find a soundbite and remind people later.
But again, I mean, I agree with you that he is the only normal person that you see in Democratic leadership.
Yeah. And I never thought I would say that. I really never thought I'd say it. But ladies and gentlemen, maybe in the next segment we'll remind you of where Fetterman started and where Fetterman is today. That'll be a good thing to do. Maybe we can do that. So, all right, folks, don't go anywhere. This is the Victor Armendariz filling in for the Kimmer.
Extra 106.3 app is your live connection to the station, streaming free across Georgia. But it's also loaded with all our original shows and podcasts. Listen to exclusive shows from Janelle King, Ben Burnett, and so many more. Grab the Extra 106.3 app now and start streaming.
Ever dreamed of taking batting practice like a big leaguer? Now's your chance to swing for the fences right on the field at Truist Park, just like your favorite Braves players. Grab your crew and enjoy 45 unforgettable minutes of on-field action. Whether you're a diehard fan or just looking for a legendary experience, this is your moment to shine. Visit Braves.com/FanBP to see more details and to purchase this experience starting October 2nd through the 18th. Atlanta Braves Baseball. We are Braves country.
You've worked hard to save, and many even have a financial advisor. But is your portfolio as efficient as it can be? I'm here today with Evan Ward of Atlas Retirement, where our listeners can get a second opinion on their retirement savings. So, Evan, tell folks the biggest benefits of getting that second look.
Well, it's clarity. It's confidence. And I had a client come in the other day, and she thought, and she is, exceptionally conservative financially. And that's the way she had told her financial advisor to investors. She thought she was paying very little in fees. We came into the full review of her portfolio. She was taking a great deal of risk, so much so that she, in a good market, was down like 15, 20%. But then the thing that really put her over the top, the thing that she had no idea is she was paying about 4.5% a year in fees. It was an outrageous kick in the teeth to her. But the good news is there are ways to fix that problem pretty quickly and get you in line with what you actually thought you had.
Second opinions obviously are important, Evan, and as is reviewing what you have in place, right? You don't want to set it and forget it. You don't want to put a retirement plan together and just think, okay, now I'm good for the future, right?
Well, the way I view retirement and retirement plans is they're living, breathing things. Because the one thing I can promise you, I can promise me, and I can promise every single person that walks in our office is life will throw you curveballs. things will change, and we've got to adapt with them. So if we aren't having annual reviews, and as you get closer to retirement, even more so, we have to adapt and build from there.
If you'd like a second opinion when it comes to your savings and investments, call Atlas Retirement for a complimentary second opinion today. That number is 678-736-7799. That's 678-736-7799. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor.
Hey there, I'm Tara, owner and publisher of Our Town Monthly, where you'll find familiar faces, local businesses, and exciting events like the 8th annual Paulding Pro Rodeo.
Hey, I'm Seth with Bice Rodeo Productions, partnering with Southern Rodeo Company, a family-owned and local rodeo production company. Join us October 3rd and 4th for the Paulding Pro Rodeo, where you'll see bucking bulls, professional cowboys and cowgirls, as well as the world-famous rodeo clown Dusty Myers. Also, we are proud to be sanctioned through the PCA. This is also our first year for the Cow Kids Rodeo Fun Day. This is a separate event for kids with special needs and their families from the community. For more information, go to southernrodeocompany.com. We can't wait to see you there.
Friends, get your tickets now at rodeoticket.com. You definitely don't want to miss this. And remember, our town is your town at Our Town Monthly.
Big moments deserve big-time craftsmanship. At Solomon Brothers Jewelers, we've been family-owned and operated since 1982 because we know what it means to show up when it counts. Jaron Solomon here, and that's why we're proud to be an official Tacori jeweler. Each Tacori ring is handcrafted in California, going through 20 elite artisans before it hits your hands. Not mass-produced, not generic, always personal. And with Solomon Brothers, you get lifetime cleanings, unbeatable financing, and the largest Tacori selection in Georgia. Stop by a store in Buckhead, Alpharetta, or Sharpsburg. Visit SolomonBrothers.com to book your private appointment. Solomon Brothers Jewelers, where love is in the details and legends are built to last. Solomon Brothers Jewelers, proud partner of the Georgia Bulldogs and official jeweler of the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets.
Atlanta, it's Mark from Atlanta Safe House. Can I have your attention, please? I have an important announcement. Our president has a backbone. Thank you, President Trump, for standing up for the American people. We sleep better knowing our country is protected. And speaking of protection, criminals laugh when you purchase a fake safe from a big box store. There's no better time to visit Atlanta Safe House and see what a real a real safe looks like. But wait, there's more. Now through the end of the month, save hundreds of dollars on all Browning, Fort Knox safes and vault doors. Drop by one of our locations or go to AtlantaSafeHouse.com.
I'll tell you where I need to go. Apparently, I need to go to Atlanta Safe House. I need a good safe.
I do as well, and I actually I got my wife one for Christmas, and I put a framed picture of their warehouse as the gift, and we just have to go there to get it, and we still haven't gone there and gotten it. So.
All right, Flounder, I got to ask. Okay, you either got the coolest wife ever. What exactly did she need? You're talking a big
safe. Put our guns.
I love it.
Kind of passports, your very important documents and things like that.
I love it. I was afraid you were going to tell me she wanted to put shoes and jewelry.
No. Probably some jewelry.
Right. No, that's understandable. No, that's awesome. Yeah, no, I hear the Kimmer talk about the Safe House a lot, and man, I do. I'm going to get down there. So if you guys are listening at the Safe House, when a little old dude comes in there that looks like a little old Mexican, I am not going to bring a leaf
Just
blower.
tell them your name and that you filled in for the show, and they'd love to have you.
Oh, man, I'd love to do it. Now, I'll tell you guys a story here. I got a buddy of mine. I call him my very, very white friend. And we joke. Look, I've got a good group of friends, and we always joke around. And I tell people, you'll hear me say this on the show sometimes. You got to have friends of all types of views, and every group should have a friend who's really out there, either out there on the left, or a friend that's kind of out there, maybe from a little bit of the history of the prejudice that we used to have in this country. Have one of those. And the reason I say that is because when I have a friend like this, I know what they're thinking. And I know what the other side is thinking. But I got to tell you, this guy lives in, he calls it Whiteyville. And I'm not going to say where it is because I don't want to give him away because he's going to kill me if he hears this. But I went to go visit him. He got a new house. He's up there in what he calls Whiteyville. And I go in there and I drive in and it's like all his neighbors start wanting my business card. I'm like, what do you don't even know what I do. And they just assume that, well, where's your leaf blower? Where's your lawnmower? And I say, look, just because I have Mexican blood doesn't mean I know how to use a lawnmower and a leaf blower and a weed whacker and all that because let me tell you, you don't want me cutting your yard. I'll mess it up. So, all right, folks, listen, this is The Kimmer Show. I am Victor Armendariz, filling in for The Kimmer. If you want to find more about me, just look up Victor Armendariz, Armendariz. I am your Mexican, not afraid to be American, not afraid to be American. And I can say that with authority because I have spent lots of time. I had the luxury of spending a lot of time in Mexico City when I was a kid. Most of my family lived in Mexico at the time when I was growing up, and none of them spoke English. So if you wonder if I can hablar español, sí, yo puedo hablar español, and only because I had to, because when I was in Mexico, I wasn't going to be able to communicate if I didn't learn it. Now, I'll tell you this, my dad did not really enforce Spanish upon us because my dad, he always said there's two things about growing up in this country. You will be educated. Doesn't matter. You don't have to go to a liberal arts, hoity-toity Ivy League college. You just need to be educated. And you will have a command of the English language. That was coming from my dad, who couldn't say Captain Crunch. When I was growing up, my favorite cereal was Captain Crunch. And no matter how many times I said, Dad, it's Captain Crunch, to this day, it's Captain Crunch. Captain Crunch. And so, from the man who can't say captain, it's just Captain Crunch, was telling us as we were growing up that we have to have a command of the English language. Not his native tongue, which was Spanish. It must be English. And my dad honestly did not want us to learn Spanish until we had a command of the English language. And I tell you what, we're better people for it. Now, is my Spanish perfect? No. But I can understand it. I can speak it. So I can get around. But I spent a lot of time in Mexico, and it was great growing up because I got to compare a first-rate, world country like the United States, and I got to spend a lot of time in what is really considered a third world country. Folks, you haven't seen poverty unless you've been outside the United States. I understand that because of Democrat policies, that there are some very poor and just really needy people in this country, in the United States. My opinion, and you can call me a liberal if you want. I'm not, but you can call me whatever you want. But I have, and I honestly think that most Americans do. I have a lot of compassion for people who are struggling in this country because, one, there really is no reason for people to be able to have to struggle in this country because we could be such a rich country, which is what President Trump, again, love him or hate him, the man is really trying to lift all boats in this country. And when you lift all boats, and listen, folks, the jobs in this country come from the people who can create jobs. And that's the people who have money that can invest in small business. 70 or 75% of job creation in this country is going to come from small business. Now, the last I checked, there weren't a lot of poor people out there asking for applications for you to come work for them. Now, some of you may go, Victor, that's insensitive. No, it's realism. If we don't have policies in this country that allow the investors, the creators, the Elon Musk of the world, the Arthur Blanks of the world, the Bernie Marcuses of the world, from them to the smallest of the business owner, to the business owners I met with while I was in Vegas, some of these people work out of their garages. If those people can't take more of their money to invest in a small business, then they can't hire you. And if they can't hire you, we're not going to be able to lift the poor people up from where they are and get them into everybody's goal should be, listen, folks, I know of which I speak because I was there. I used to live paycheck to paycheck. I used to worry about when are they coming for my car because I was so behind on payments. Yeah, that used to be me. There was a time in my life when I struggled. But the minute I decided this is no one's fault, I just got to push forward. And then luckily we had some good administrations come in and businesses flourished, small business flourished, and I was able to flourish. because this whole business of class warfare, we have to get off of this. And I didn't expect to get on this, but that's okay. This is important. We have to get away from class warfare, because let me tell you, when the Democrats tell you, oh, don't like that guy over there because he has more than you, the issue is not they have more than you. The issue is, how can I go get money out of that guy's pocket? Not at the force of a gun, but because I want to do a job. I want to work for that person. That person has succeeded. I want to do some work. So that person's got to have maybe they have something I can do too. And then I can talk. You know how many times as I was a kid, I walked up to a successful person and I asked, what do you do? How do I learn to do it? And that's how I learned a whole lot, folks. I really did. And learned it from my dad, too. So, all right, folks, we got a lot to get to. Don't you go anywhere. I am Victor Armendariz, your Mexican, not afraid to be American.
Extra every weekday morning from 6 to 10 on WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. Extra 106.3.
Just 8 hours left to avoid a government shutdown. Lisa Brady, Fox News, and each side of the aisle still pointing a finger at the other.
Democrats do not want a shutdown. We stand ready to work with Republicans to find a bipartisan compromise, and the ball's in their court.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, but Majority Leader John Thune says Democrats are holding Americans hostage.
To try and get a laundry list, a wish list, a Christmas list of their left-wing priorities attached, in their case, to a 4-week continuing resolution. Ours is 7 weeks.
Thune says talks on policy differences should be separate. The Senate will take up both short-term spending bills. Transportation officials say if there is a shutdown, 11,000 FAA employees will be furloughed, and that air traffic controllers will keep working but will not be paid. A federal judge in Massachusetts finds the Trump administration went too far with a crackdown on campus protests over the war in Gaza. The ruling says efforts to deport non-citizen protesters were unconstitutional.
U.S. District Judge William Young, a federal appointee of President Reagan, ruled so-called ideological deportations are a violation of the First Amendment. Judge Young sided with lawyers for a group of university associations who argued that immigrants' lawful political speech was targeted, and it creates fear in non-citizens who attend schools. Attorneys for the Trump administration say no policy to revoke visas exists based on political speech, and that the government is just enforcing immigration law.
Fox's Gernal Scott, no word yet on an appeal. A federal judge in Rhode Island just blocking the administration from cutting counterterrorism grant funds for Democrat-led states. It's a temporary block as a legal fight continues over so-called sanctuary jurisdictions. A late turnaround on Wall Street. The Dow up 81 points at the bell to a new record close. America is listening to Fox News.
Heroes like Austin Reese have paid a high price for our freedom. Austin served 3 deployments to Iraq. He spent 13 years with the Navy Explosive Ordnance Disposal Unit and became a military freefall instructor. But in what was thought to be a routine jump, something went terribly wrong. Austin was left paralyzed. Tunnel to Towers built Austin a specially adapted smart home. Help heroes. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Kimmer Show, 106.3, Extra 106.3. Hey, listen, folks, if you haven't got the Extra app, go to your cellular, that old cell phone you've got, and go to the App Store and get the Extra 106.3 app because, man, let me tell you something. No matter where you are, you pull out your phone, you've always got connection. Let's face it, the connection's getting better and better, so you never miss a Kimmer Show. And then whenever I'm filling in, you won't miss me. So, all right. I'm going to do something I don't normally do. Normally at the beginning, the top of the hour, I'm going to get into another diatribe, but I'm going to go straight to the phones. I'm going to do better today. So let's go to the phones. I think
Clayton on the horn.
Hi, Clayton, go ahead. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, hey, Victor, I'm enjoying your show. You're doing a real good job, and I appreciate especially what you said about family, because I think that's such a great thing when you can, give credit to your parents for helping you be the person you are. And I see all these mentally ill leftists who are such a mess and want to blame everybody for being a mess, and a lot of times blame their own parents. A lot of things that I'd like to talk about, but really nothing important. Just thanks for doing a good job. I appreciate your show.
Oh, man, Clayton, thank you, and spread the word. I appreciate that, but thank you. But, folks, what Clayton is saying there, it's so true. We have an epidemic right now of violence, and a lot of it's coming from the left, and a lot of it's coming from troubled kids. Look at the transgender shooter in Nashville, the transgender shooter that shot up the church. Oh. Hey, Clayton, okay, good. Sorry about that. I thought we had lost the call there, Clayton, so my bad. No. But we're okay. But do you look?
Listen,
oh, good. Oh, good. You're still there. Oh, thank goodness. Good. So listen to what's going on there, Clayton. You've got the transgender shootings. You've got these teenagers that are doing these things, and you're so right, because what is one of the things that the Democrat policies have done in this country? It's destroying the nuclear family. And that's a bad thing. So do you have siblings or do you have kids?
Yes, I have 3 sisters and a bunch of kids and grandkids, and it's family all the way. We had supper every night, as soon as everybody got in from work and school, prayed together, go to church together. Just the usual West Georgia conservative lifestyle. And these. You talk about your. Well, I can't remember my point now. It's not important.
No, Clayton, that's no, don't worry about it, Clayton. Listen, thank you for the phone call. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for listening and spread the word. I know what he's getting at there, folks. What Clayton's getting at is that when you have your nuclear family, whether it's you and your mom, your dad, and one kid, or your siblings, but when you're a family, when there's a father figure and there's a mother, and I don't care if what Media Matters says, I don't care what the Democrats say, I just don't care. Because they get mad when you talk about having a father figure and having a mother figure. That's important. And now I am never, ever, ever, not me, I will never say anything bad about somebody that adopts a kid, whether they're 2 daddies and 2 mommies. I'm just not going to go down that road to be. I just hope that they're putting good examples, because I don't want any kid to be without a family. I'm sorry, folks. I just I think children should be cherished, and I have a young daughter, and I can't imagine not having that nuclear family. I just can't. And so, but I think. And I look, it isn't just me pretending this is true. There are plenty of stats. If you have the courage to go look things up, there are plenty of scientific data to back up what I'm telling you. You just can't replace the father figure, the mother figure, to be head of the family. And that father figure has to take that role. You've got to have that role. Look, and my family, and I'll bet you Clayton was similar. My mom ruled the house. My dad worked, and my mom took care of the house. But if there was something that pushed my mom to the limit, and she said that terrible sentence, "You just wait till your father gets home." Well, we all knew what that meant. And let me tell you, my mother was a very, very strict mother. And if she ever got to the point where she put it on my dad to discipline, well, You didn't want that, and we didn't want that, so we got to have that nuclear family. Flounder, you look like you got
my mom was like that too, but she wasn't as stern, but she would almost hang it over her head like you want your father to know, so she knew how to kind of play the game as well.
So
but
she would bargain with you.
A little bit, but if she had to do the damage as well, she wasn't afraid to do it.
Wow.
So, and that's one thing, you have to instill a little fear.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the reality of growing up and being a kid and, being mischievous and getting caught doing things, and you have to pay the consequence.
There is no doubt about that, and there's got to be some type of discipline. I mean, if there's not, then you're going to run rickshot over your parents, and if you do that, you grow up thinking you can run rickshot over everybody, and the real world doesn't work that way. So no, I love that phone call, Clayton. Thank you so much, because family is important. And listen, folks, you remember back when in all those 500 and something riots that took place after 2020, I guess probably through 21, we had all those riots, and the BLM was out there just along with Antifa. But it was the BLM website that said that the nuclear family, I'm paraphrasing, but basically said the nuclear family must be destroyed or must be discouraged. Now, if you're listening to me right now and you're a black voter, you're a black voter in this country, this wonderful United States. If you are, I want you to listen to me. And I would love for you to call in, especially if you disagree with me. But if you're a black voter, how did you like it that the BLM, who called themselves Black Lives Matter, this big organization that sucked money out of everybody they could suck money out of, and in their charter, they were against a nuclear family? Now, do you think that black children in Chicago are better off without having fathers around or mothers around? Now, I'm not saying that there aren't circumstances where, of course, there are good single mothers because they were forced into circumstances they couldn't control. But we should be willing as a society to help them, not to discourage being a family. And your the BLM charter, Black Lives Matter charter, was against the nuclear family. That doesn't mean that there aren't going to be. If you're let me rephrase that. If you're for a family, you're for a nuclear traditional family, that doesn't mean that you're not going to help somebody who found themselves in a situation where they're a single parent, because it happens. It happens. But we ought to have policies and we ought to strive to help those single parent families become as close to a nuclear family as possible, instead of just saying, well, we're going to put all these extra these programs out there where you're not going to, we're just going to give you things, but we're going to keep you down. Let me tell you, folks, everything the government gives you, they can take away. Everything and anything the government gives you, they can take away. And when the government is giving you, when your life depends on the government, then they're able to control what you do. If they want to change your behavior, the government can change your behavior. And believe you me, the Democrats are not going to try to change your behavior to be self-reliant. The Democrat Party of today despises self-reliance. If you can think for yourself and you can use your sweat equity to take care of yourself and fend for yourself, then you're not somebody the Democrat Party is targeting. If they're targeting you, they're trying to get you away from those values. And I'm not afraid to say it. There's a reason I'm known as the Mexican not afraid to be American. And I'm not angry. I'm just right. There's a reason the Democrat Party tries to get you away from that nuclear family idea. It's a very Marxist way of thinking. Very Marxist way of thinking, because you've got to realize, what is the Democrat Party? What is their policies of today? What are they trying to do? They want to gain power. Well, how do you gain power over people? You make them dependent. The more people you make dependent, the more power you have. So the more we allow the Democrats to put policies out there where you're dependent on them, you're dependent on them telling you what car to drive. You're dependent on them to tell you when you can power your car, when you can power your house. You're dependent on them for a house. This was by design. Getting these rates up so high so young people can't afford a house, that was done by design. The Democrat Party, I'm telling you dirty little secrets here that no one else will tell you, but I will tell you. The Democrats, their long-term goal has been for quite a while to make it very hard for young people and young generations to buy a home. Because if you can't buy a home, what's going to happen? You're going to have to rent. And then when rent's not affordable, what are the Democrats going to do? Well, we'll come in and we'll have government housing. We'll expand government housing. We'll expand government rentals. You don't believe me? Listen to what Mandami's saying in New York City right now. Listen to the guy they're about to elect in New York City right now. And then you will start to believe me because, folks, I am not wrong. And we will be right back.
It's time for the Bortz Report, brought to you by Southern Exteriors, the Southeast's premier home exterior solution. Quality and precision you can rely on for over 20 years. Visit southernexteriors.co.
Okay, I'm going to beat this horse again, but it's not quite dead, so let's go. Today, I will finish about a 2,500-mile trip in the Bortz bus. All but about 100 miles of it will be on expressways. I'm a law-abiding citizen. My speed control is always set at 69 miles an hour, 1,500 RPM in that diesel D13. We get passed all the time by cars that are doing at least 80, if not 90 or 100 miles an hour. Not once in this entire trip, knock on wood, has any speeding car caused us any difficulty. No sudden braking, nothing. We did have several incidents where I had to switch lanes in a hurry, hit the brakes, whatever, because of slow drivers. I've been moaning about this forever. So yesterday I asked AI, ChatGPT, which was more dangerous, which caused more accidents, slow drivers on expressways or speeders. The answer, clearly, slow drivers cause more accidents. Numbnuts that don't know how to use an acceleration lane to get onto an expressway. One lady yesterday, middle lane, 10 miles an hour under the speed limit, steering with her knees, holding an iPad mini in both hands. I had to move into the fast lane to get around her. Now, one caveat, speeders will cause more severe accidents, but not as many accidents. But where's the money? The money is in ticketing speeders, not ticketing slow drivers. So do the math. I'll leave that one up to you. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
Hey, it's Tug. I was raised to respect my neighbors, and they've got plenty to say about Southern Exteriors. Sarah from Covington, very professional, no hassle, and great quality. Will from Jackson, the crew showed up on time, worked efficiently, and left everything spotless. Jennifer from Jenkinsburg summed it up. Awesome, caring, professional. That's Southern Exteriors. Trusted by me, trusted by your neighbors. Call 877-9-SOUTHERN or visit southernexteriors.co. That's southernexteriors.co.
Pete Davis here, and football is in full swing. And Underdog is the best place to make picks and win money all season long. And the best part, you can play right now here in Georgia. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players are going to go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, passing yards, interceptions, and more. Get your picks right, you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. The Falcons are off this week, freeing us up to turn our attention to other games like the Vikings at the Browns. It's simple, it's fun, and it keeps me locked into every play. Download the app today. Sign up with promo code 1063 to score $100 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code 1063. Underdog. Make picks, win money.
Must be 18 plus and present in Georgia. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
Are you looking for something simple but delicious, sweet but also savory? Discover Schumann Farms Sweet Onions. Schumann Farms is a third-generation family farm with the Real Sweet brand sweet onions. Whether you're grilling, sautéing, or simply adding a fresh crunch to your salad, Schumann Farms has you covered. Look for Schumann Farms Real Sweet brand sweet onions at your grocery store and taste the difference for yourself. Schumann Farms, the Georgia family farm growing tradition and the world's sweetest onions.
Hey, it's Lowe's here to tell you about a new, stress-free, and completely transparent way to purchase your next pre-owned car, truck, or SUV. It's with Tom Mitchell, the Honest Car Guy. Tom, traditionally, I've been a payment buyer. How do you work with that type of buyer?
I have people that come in all the time and they want to spend $20,000. Okay, if their payments are $400 on $20,000, they don't realize without the doc fees, without all this other stuff, we can put them in a 22 or 23 model car and we can spend a little bit more money and have the same payment. So if you're a payment buyer, don't come in here just saying, I want to spend $20,000, because we can sit there and help you and we can put you in a newer car with lesser miles at a payment you need.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
Some remodelers are too big to care, others too small to count on. Southern Exteriors hits the sweet spot. Big company buying power with hometown heart. Hates Tug, and I trust them for siding, roofing, gutters, windows, and doors. Over 1,000 projects a year, top materials fast, prices fair, and jobs on track. Plus 25 years of true local care. Call 877-9-SOUTHERN or visit southernexteriors.co. That's southernexteriors.co.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am Victor Armendariz, filling in for the Kimmer 106.3. This is Extra 106.3. Make sure you get the app, guys. Make sure you get the app and listen to it anytime you want. All right. I want to jump into, so listen, folks, if Secretary of War offends you, well, then you might be a foreign adversary, because the reason they went back to this. Listen, you can learn your history. It used to be the Secretary of War many years ago, and the reason they went back to it, it's not to, despite what the media will tell you, they didn't go back to naming it Secretary of War so they could tick off the Democrat Party. Or, I mean, these Democrats are so full of themselves. They really think that everything Trump does is just to get under their skin. Which, don't get me wrong, Donald Trump is very good at that. It's fun to watch. I said this before. I've never seen anybody as good as trolling as Donald Trump is, and it's fun to watch the Democrats try to go toe to toe with him, and he's just doing circles around them. But Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth did not go back to calling the Secretary of Defense the Secretary of War. They didn't do it because they wanted to scare the American people. They didn't do it because they're weaponizing to go against Democrats. Like, wait, who did that? Wait a minute. I'm old enough to remember the only party that weaponized the American judicial system to go against their opponent was, oh yeah, right, that was Biden and Kamala and the Democrats. Gosh, whew. So they're not calling it Secretary of War so they can just scare little old Democrats running around and force them to their cry closets and their safe spaces. They did it because of everybody outside the United States. Listen, we are the only country on the planet, and listen to me well, please, listen to me well. Get close to your speakers. Turn them up. Turn up your devices. We are the only country on the planet that has to build a wall to keep people out. Other countries, and you can verify this through, just look it up for yourself, but throughout history, other countries have had to have walls to keep people in. In the United States, the only country on the planet that has to have a wall to keep people out. The world wants to come here. They'll trash us, and they'll copy leftist Democrat language, and they'll just act like we're just the worst country ever, while they come and trample over across our border. So figured that one out. So listen, folks, you can listen to what people say, but you really need to watch their actions. Follow the actions. And so we are, it's just, that's probably one of the best ways I can give an example of the greatness of this country and how to distinguish this country, why we are such an excellent, amazing country, mostly because of our Constitution and that we're a republic. We're not some crazy tyrannical government, or we're not a government that could easily become tyrannical, because we have that Constitution that says our government is of the people, by the people, for the people.
That's what's annoying about Democrats who always say our threat to democracy, our democracy. We're not a democracy. There's aspects of democracy within our Constitution, but we are a constitutional republic.
Well, you are 100% right, and that's going to send me down another tirade. You know, Flounder, 100%, ladies and gentlemen, listen to what he said, because I think I mentioned this yesterday. You cannot find the word democracy anywhere in the Constitution. Anywhere. And that wasn't by mistake. The founding fathers did not make a mistake and not include the word democracy in the Constitution. There's a reason that word is not there.
Yeah, it's like the Pledge of Allegiance and for the Republic.
For the Republic. Oh, man. If they could take that out, they would. I mean, they tried to take God out of the pledge, and if they could take the Republic out, they would. I mean, they would replace it with we pledge allegiance to the Democrat Party.
The DEI or something
and
like
DEI
that.
and who knows what else. But no, it's so true. And folks, if you doubt me, go back. You want to see the origins of democracy and what's behind that? Go back, look up Socrates. And this is a good exercise for many of you, because if you went to a government school, look, I don't call public schools because they're government schools. And our, boy, we'll have to talk about this at some point this week. Our education of our wonderful, precious children should not come from the federal government in any way, shape, or form. Not at all. Not in this country. We're a country based on freedom. We're a country based on liberty. We're a country of the people per our Constitution. And so the last group of people that should have anything to do with educating our kids is the federal government. It's a complete state. It's got to be down to the local level. I'm not against having public education, but it shouldn't be government education. It should be public education where your local community tax dollars are going to educate your child. And we should always have voucher system. We should always have a system of, if you're in a failing school and it's run by Democrats and they won't do anything to make it better, you should be able to leave that failing school. The tax dollars should follow your child, not the failing school of which there's administrators just packing their pockets instead of worrying about whether your kid can learn to read or write by the time they're 20. I mean, it's just a bad situation. So now I say all that, and I will tell you this: I am a product of government schools. But when I was in a government school, I had a mother and a father that made sure they knew. You want to know what my government school feared the most? They feared my mother. They didn't fear the city council. They didn't fear the federal government. They feared my mother, because my mom, she didn't care if she embarrassed me or my sisters or my brother. My mom, if she thought that somebody in that school was teaching us something we didn't need to learn, she would march up to that school. Right, boy, if she did that today, my mom couldn't have young kids today because they'd arrest her. The Democrats or Biden administration or somebody would have arrested her for walking, because of the way she would walk into a school. She wouldn't ask for permission to go talk to a teacher. She'd go to the classroom and sit down and go, okay, what's going on? And make no mistake, if it were our fault, then she would still go up to the school and be on the side of the teacher. And then there was HE double hockey sticks to pay when we got home. But the point is, my mother was involved. She was involved. She knew what was being taught to us. So if they tried to teach some kind of back then, now look, folks, I'm on the wrong side of old. And this was many years ago when I was in a government school. And I'll tell you, government schools got so bad that my younger sister, my baby sister, well, she didn't have to go to government school. She got to go to a private school. She's going to kill me for that. But my parents were smart enough to go, hey, we're getting older. I don't want to, my mom was like, I'm getting older. I don't want to go fight with these government school people anymore. I'm going to stick this little girl into private school. So me and my brother and my older sister, we had to deal with the wrath of my mom in government schools. But not my little sister. She got to go to the private, fancy schmancy schools. I'm glad that she got to experience that. So I am. But I when I refer to government schools, I'm talking about the public school system, because it is government schools, because the federal government's got their hands in it and they're ruining schools. I mean, we're putting out children that can't read. I mean, it's awful. You've got high school students that can't read. This is awful. I have a 3-year-old, just turned 3. And she can almost read. So don't tell me you can't teach kids how to read. I mean, it's just the government doesn't want to. They don't want to overeducate. And believe me, I believe it was Neil Bortz. And by my goodness, hopefully maybe we'll get to talk to Neil Bortz on Friday. But I believe it was Neil Bortz that talked about when the public education or government education system was founded, that they actually had it. It was kind of in their I want to say syllabus, but because I've got school on the mind, but it was kind of in the development of that school system, of the government schools, the public school system. They actually said, we don't want to overeducate. And you know why? Because it was being put together by government people and bureaucrats. And what does a bureaucrat and government person not want? They don't want a majority of the populace to be overeducated, because then that populace starts to question the leaders. And if you question the leaders, then you're questioning the Democrats and you're questioning some Republicans. And if you do that, you're challenging their power. And believe you me, our so-called representatives that are there by the grace of we the people, they don't like having their power challenged by the peasants, which that's us, folks. That's us. Believe you me. There's many Democrats sitting in that, and maybe some Republicans, I don't know, but I know there are Democrats up in Washington, and they view you're the peasant. You think Jasmine Crockett views you as her equal? Oh, once you people in, I think it's Texas, once you guys voted her in, oh boy, now look it up, folks. She demands a certain type of vehicle, and it's an Escalade, baby. It's a big old black Escalade. There's no worry about global warming or climate change with Crockett. No, she is better than you, and she can only ride in a certain temperature, big old Escalade. And you better open the door for her, and you better do these things for her. This is things that I've read of people that have worked with her are saying about her and how bad she is and how she treats people around her, because she's in power and you're not. And I'm telling you, folks, this is something I see too often with politicians. And this is what I tell you when I tell you that if you keep electing the same politician over and over and over, and you just let them stay in power, it becomes a point when they're more concerned about the power they're amassing than they are about the good they're doing for you, the people. So it's less about, the longer they're in Washington, it becomes less about them representing you, and it becomes more about how they're obtaining power and are they securing that power. So folks, take my word, you're going to want to vote some people out of office every chance you get.
Extra 106.3 is Atlanta's home for NASCAR, and we have live races every weekend from across the country. Check out extra1063.com for the full schedule and join us this weekend for live NASCAR action.
Time now for the Retire Wise Report. James Parker here with financial advisor Sean Maloney, founder and CEO of Retire Wise. Many people assume their taxes will automatically go down once they retire and stop collecting paychecks. Sean, is this a dangerous assumption?
It can be, because you know what? Lower taxes in retirement can be a myth. It's not always true, right? Remember, up to 85% of your Social Security benefits could be taxed, right? Your traditional IRA and 401k income is 100% taxable, so that needs to be accounted for. And that's why it's so important to find ways to reduce or eliminate your taxes wherever possible.
Tell us about the offer you have for our listeners.
Hey, look, now is the time to start looking ahead and identifying your tax liabilities in retirement. Well, we have a great resource for you guys. We have what's called the Retire Happy Framework Toolkit. You can get a copy today by calling or texting the word WISE to 770-802-2200. My team helped put together this just for you, and it's a complimentary guide. And the center of this is a copy of my latest book, The Priority of Retirement. It has chapters on everything from Social Security to investments to income planning. We include guides in there as well as on strategies for income planning, for taxes, and even dealing with recessions in retirement, among other things. So if you want to get this information in your hands today, call or text the word WISE to 770-802-2200. That's 770-802-2200.
Take advantage of this offer. Get your Retire Happy Framework today. Just text WISE to 770-802-2200. And the team at Retire Wise will get you your Retire Happy Framework right away. So just call or text WISE to 770-802-2200. 2200. Investment advisory services made available through AE Wealth Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Firm does not provide tax services.
We're smart, we care. We're Central Heating and Air.
Fall is in the air, and Central Heating and Air Conditioning is making it the perfect time to upgrade your comfort. For a limited time, you get up to $2,100 in rebates and 60 months, 0% financing with approved credit. That's right, savings up front and no interest for 5 whole years. A brand new carrier system from Central delivers dependability, efficiency, and comfort every family deserves. Central Heating and Air Conditioning have set the standard in heating and cooling for over 3 generations. And now's your chance to bring that comfort home with the best savings of the season. These dual incentives don't come around often, so act now. Call 770-GET-HEAT today. That's 770-GET-HEAT. Or visit centralheat.com, centralheat.com. Upgrade your comfort, lock in your savings, and turn to your Atlanta carrier experts. Central Heating and Air Conditioning.
We're smart, we care. We're Central Heating and Air.
Life is unpredictable, but when trouble comes, you need a team you can trust. At A Second Chance Bail Bonds, we've been helping families for nearly 20 years, providing fast, professional, and discreet service. With 12 locations across Metro Atlanta and Birmingham, we're available 24/7 to get your loved one home, quick and with care. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Call 404-BAIL-OUT, that's 404-BAIL-OUT, or visit atlbail.com today.
Hey, this is Matt from East Cobb. We basically bought our house from our in-laws. It was my wife's childhood home. One of the issues that we've had when we first moved in was our dog in our backyard. It was extremely shaded, could never grow grass back there. We resodded it twice. So ATL Turf Co. did an amazing job with our backyard transformation. They basically created a miniature golf hole. We have a miniature fairway. We also have a miniature little putting green. Consists of about 4 holes, total about 40 yards, so you can definitely work on your short game and your putting. After that transformation that ATL Turf Co. did for us, my father-in-law came and saw his house the way it looked after the fact of we had a putting green and a miniature golf course. Sure enough, he did the same thing with ATL Turf Co. He has a beautiful backyard, wonderful stonework, drainage, and a beautiful practice area for chipping and putting. Check him out online at atlturfco.com.
My opinion on how Trump is doing so far. All in all, good job, and so glad the hyena is not in the White House.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Victor Armendariz, your Mexican not afraid to be American, filling in for the Kimmer 106.3. Make sure you get that app, 106.3, and you can listen all the time. Listen, I gotta. Those of you who know me, I'm a huge supporter of law enforcement, even ICE. But I'm a legal Mexican, not afraid to be American. Oh, I shouldn't say that's terrible. Listen, folks, I do have in my heart, I really do. I have so much compassion, more than you can believe, for people who come here seeking a better life, even the ones who came here illegally. There are some, listen, I've known some good, I will be fully transparent. I have some friends who came here, but you know what? They want to be Americans. They came here from, we don't need to get in how, but I've known some people that here, they work hard. They're some of the hardest working people you'll ever know, and they're good people. They're not harming anyone. They're not breaking any other crimes. They're not drinking and driving. They're not stealing. They're not robbing. They don't wave foreign flags around. They're just actually trying to live, and they want to be Americans. And listen, if you want to be American and you're here, I'm okay with that. I think we've got to figure out a plan. And honestly, folks, I've got a plan, and I'll talk about it. Maybe I'll do this tomorrow on tomorrow's show. There is a plan. There's a way to decipher the good people, whether it's farm workers, whether it's people who are working in warehouses and cooks, and they're the yard people. There are good people, and there is a way that we can handle those after we get all the bad people out. Listen, I'm 100% supporter of getting criminals, when you're talking about gangbangers, and you're talking about drug pushers, you're talking about drunk drivers. Folks, listen, I used to live in Atlanta. I lived in the Brookhaven Chamblee area, and I can tell you that now because I don't live there anymore. I now have a mountain retreat, and I'm not going to tell you where, but I ran away from the city, and I have a bunker up in the mountains. I copied Pete's method, I think. So, but I used to live down in the city, and I witnessed. Now I live near a place called Plaza Fiesta. It's the meeting point for illegals. I shouldn't say that because maybe ISIS. No, I'm kidding, folks. They're not going to go over there. Those aren't. I mean, well, maybe. Anyway, I used to live near Plaza Fiesta, and I saw awful accidents, and it was always somebody who drank too much, blew through an intersection, and T-boned. I saw a car get split in half, literally get split in half, because the drunk driver was doing probably 70 miles an hour plus, blew through the intersection and T-boned a car and split it in half. This is what I have no tolerance for. If you came here illegally and you're going to drink and drive and you're going to kill citizens or harm, because you drink, drive, and you cause an accident, then there's no place for you here. You need to be sent back. So I have compassion for people who want to be here and they want to be Americans. They want to assimilate. There's a better way to do it because my father is the perfect example of how to do it. But when you talk about all the people that are here, it's just, there's a way we can do this. And I think Trump is on the way to doing that. I think, once they get the bad criminal element out of here. Now, are they going to make mistakes? Maybe. Yes, of course, they're only human. And I can only hope that the Trump administration just corrects anything that was wrong. And but the issue here is not they're doing Gestapo raids and things like that. That's ridiculous, folks. That's ridiculous. The ICE is a law enforcement agency that are upholding the laws that were put on the books by your politicians. So, but I want to do this. So what I was getting at before I got off on that tirade, I'm a big supporter of law enforcement. Big supporter of veterans. I'm a big supporter of our military. I'm a big supporter of law enforcement. And these guys are great. I'm lucky enough to know a lot of officers. I wasn't always a talk show host. I won't get in, nor can I get into my past, not all of it. But I have done things in my past that have put me in contact with a lot of law enforcement people. So I have a good connection with a lot of law enforcement people. Let's just put it that way. So I have some people listening right now, and I've got to do a nice shout out to them. Stone Mountain Park PD, the Stone Mountain Park PD. I've got some great listeners out there, and listen, if you're in Georgia and you haven't gone to Stone Mountain for fall, like right now when they're decorated for Halloween, it's amazing. So go to Stone Mountain Park. Please do. Please go to Stone Mountain Park. It's an amazing place. Right now, it's their pumpkin decorations, and it's awesome. They're going to go right into Thanksgiving, and then they're going to decorate for Christmas. And well, actually, I think they decorate for Christmas right after Halloween. It's absolutely amazing. But a big shout out to the Stone Mountain PD. I've got a good buddy out there. His name is Jonathan, and he won't mind me saying that. Good guy out there. These people work hard, ladies and gentlemen. They work hard. I don't care what the Democrats say about law enforcement. These are good people, and they put themselves in the line of fire for you if they have to. And it's a thankless job, and they should be thanked. Now, not everybody's going to be perfect. I told you, we're human. They're not all going to be perfect, but most of these guys try to do the right thing. These guys and gals especially at Stone Mountain Park PD, they're good people. Just don't speed through Stone Mountain Park because they don't have any tolerance for that. So I can only help you so much. So when you enter the gates of Stone Mountain Park, don't speed. Please don't speed. Okay, so I got to get to this. Did you guys? I don't know if anybody and if any of you heard Pete Hegseth today when I started talking about the Department of War. I told you when they renamed the Department of War, it's not for the people here in this country. It's for the people outside of this country. Whether you like it or not, China is not our friend. Many places in the Middle East, they don't want to be our friend. Now, we are on the cusp of having once again on actual peace break out in the Middle East, and that's thanks to President Trump. Love him or hate him, this guy's fighting for peace. I don't understand how some of you people can find a problem with Trump coming up with a peace plan for the Middle East. I don't understand it. I don't understand how so many Democrats can be anti-Semitic. I don't understand that. Explain to me how so many Biden voters and Kamala voters are blocking Jewish students from going to class. I just don't understand it. And then yet some of you out there will still vote Democrat. Blows my mind. And some of you Jewish people will still vote Democrat. I don't understand it. There's something wrong with that kind of thinking. So the Department of War, they named it that because of our adversaries. Russia is not our friend. Trust me, Trump knows that. Trump knows that. He tried. So this really gets me going too. You Democrats who are just trashing Trump, it blows my mind. Donald Trump has given Putin every chance to come to peace, a peaceful solution in Ukraine. What do the Democrats do about Ukraine? And I'm going to get off on another topic here, but let me just say this. What do the Democrats do for the Ukraine? All they want to do is spend your money and my money and give it to Ukraine. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't help Ukraine, but look what Trump did. Trump came in and said, you know what? Ukraine's not in our backyard. They're in Europe's backyard. Europe, you are going to buy weapons from us, and you're going to give those weapons to Ukraine. And voila. Now the United States taxpayer is not on hook for sending billions and billions to Ukraine to fight a proxy war with Russia. Now we're selling weapons to NATO and to other European countries. They're giving those weapons to Ukraine, and then Ukraine can use some darn good weaponry from the United States to counter Russia. That's a good thing. That's okay. I'm for that. But Donald Trump could have easily said, we'll just keep arming Ukraine and we'll just let them have a war and eventually it's going to end. No, Donald Trump's not going to do that. Donald Trump, the Democrats would do that. And some Republicans will do that. Lindsey Graham, I don't think that man's ever seen a war that he didn't just want to cheer on. Too many politicians love wars. They just love wars. It's big money for them. I won't get into how, but it's just the war machine can be a lot of money. I shouldn't say this. I'm going to make some people mad, but when all this stuff is over, I'd like to see how many oligarchs, how many people in the Ukrainian government have lots and lots of money now that they didn't have before. I'm just saying it's something that we should look at. But when it comes to Russia, look what Trump's doing. Trump tried everything for peace, where too many politicians just want to let them fight and fight and fight and fight, and more people die, and then they figure, well, at some point, so much people will die that they'll have to stop. No, Trump looks at it and goes, why don't we save lives? This whole war is just stupid. War in general is stupid. Let's save lives. So Trump's giving Putin every chance before he really lays down the pain on Putin. And that pain is coming. And Putin knows it. Trust me, folks. They're going to come to a conclusion at some point because he's going to realize he's not going to best Trump. Not on the world stage. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back.
Start your day with Tug and Los on the Morning Extra from 6 to 10. Then it's Glenn Beck, Clay and Buck at noon, and the Kimmer Show on your ride home from 3 to 6. And hang out every night for Jesse Kelly at 6 and Jimmy Fela at 9. And stream it all live in crystal clear HD on the Extra 106.3 app.
Backyard, ballpark, or campsite, if there's fire, you can grill. At Southern Thunder Barbecue School, our Grill with the Pros class puts you in the action. In just 4 hours, you'll master steakhouse quality steaks, thick-cut pork chops, chicken quarters, veggie kebabs, and wings. It's a hands-on training under the tutelage of barbecue grand champions. When the cooking is complete, you'll feast. Don't just grill like a pro. Register now at southernthunderbarbecue.com. That's southernthunderbbq.com.
Join Daniel Madelon, CEO of A Second Chance Bail Bonds, and co-host Tug Cowart as they bring together law enforcement, justice insiders, and voices from every part of the justice system, victims, advocates, and people who've turned their lives around. It's not PR, it's not fluff. It's an honest talk about what's working, what's broken, and how to build a better path forward, one second chance at a time. This week's guest is former Clayton County Sheriff and current candidate for Congress in Georgia's 5th District, Victor Hill. Justice Unfiltered. Unfiltered, informed, and unbiased.
No one plans on going to jail, but when it happens, it's important that you know who to call. Call A Second Chance Bail Bonds, where we believe everyone deserves a second chance. Whether your loved one's been arrested in Cherokee, Clayton, or any of the other metro Atlanta counties in between, A Second Chance Bail Bonds works fast to help expedite release within hours. A Second Chance. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Call A Second Chance 24/7 at 404-BAIL-OUT or online at atlbail.com.
Another trip to the vet, another diagnosis, another expensive treatment that may or may not even work. You're back in the treatment room. Your dog is shaking with anxiety, and you're shaking because you don't know how much this visit is going to cost. Skin allergies, joint pain, digestive upset, ear infections. It's always something, it seems. And every time you walk out with a bag full of medications hoping this will finally be the answer. Well, here's the truth. Most canine health problems share one common root cause, a weakened immune system, often from years of eating dead, processed food. That's why naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black created Rough Greens. It breaks the vet cycle with the live nutrients your dog needs to thrive. There's a reason it's known as America's #1 dog supplement. Thousands of pet parents are getting off the vet visit merry-go-round and are seeing the difference. I know I have with my dog. Right now, try it for yourself with a free Jumpstart trial bag. Just cover the shipping. The best doctor visit is the one you never have to make. So go to roughgreens.com, use the promo code BECK, break the cycle today.
You should never need financing for a simple garage door repair, but it's happening here. Out-of-town companies have invaded Atlanta for a cash grab, charging outrageous prices. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage, Entry Doors, and Windows. Stay local and stay on budget for every opening of your home. All Four Seasons, trusted in Atlanta for over 25 years, exceptional customer service, and fair, honest pricing. When trust matters, trust us. All the number 4 seasonsgarages.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The Victor Armendariz here in for the Kimmer. 106.3. Hey, I got to say, this just popped up, folks. This is the kind of stuff you got to understand about today's Democrat Party. We just had an ICE truck or an ICE detention center, maybe it was, that just got shot up. You've got this rhetoric coming from the Democrats where these are law enforcement people. They're just trying to go to work. If you have a problem with our immigration laws in this country, well, you need to talk to your representative. You need to talk to your senator. There's not one immigration policy being enforced right now that wasn't written and passed by your Democrat and Republican legislatures. If you have a problem with ICE going out and following the law and upholding the law, Donald J. Trump and the the Department of Home Defense. I'm going to get that wrong. But you know what, Homeland and what his whole crew is doing, all they can do is follow the laws that are on the books. And if you have your problem isn't with ICE. If you have a problem with ICE going and getting gangbangers and rapists and child traffickers and picking these guys up off the street, if you have a problem, and I'm talking to you, that Van Hollen, you're up there in Washington, and then you don't fly to go see any victim families, citizens of this country that are victims of gangbanger crime, people who came here illegal, but you'll fly to El Salvador to have a margarita with a gangbanger. Yeah, I'm talking to you. You guys up in Washington, you passed these laws. Every law that's on the books is what Donald Trump is enforcing. Every immigration law on the books that's being enforced by Donald Trump right now and Homeland Security and ICE was passed by your Democrats and your Republicans. So if you have a problem with what ICE is doing, your problem isn't with poor Joe Blow or Sally who put on the uniform and is just trying to go to work every day and they want to make it home to their families at night. They're just doing their job, and their job just happens to be enforcing laws that were passed by your Democrats and your Republicans. So if you have a problem with what's going on right now with the enforcement of immigration laws in this country, your problem is not with the men and women who put on the uniform and risk their lives every day to make the streets a safer place for you and me. Your problem is with the legislators that you people, and I mean that in a good way, that you people, we the people, keep electing over and over and over. The Democrats and the Republicans that sit up there in Washington, D.C. and go out and have their wonderful steak dinners every night and go out. Look what Newsom does. He goes to the most expensive restaurants. The people in California can't afford gas. They can't afford rent. They can't afford to buy a house. But boy, Newsom sure can afford to go up and eat at the finest restaurants he wants. Well, that's how Washington is. You've got all these Democrats and bureaucrats and even some establishment Republicans that go up there. They are the ones who passed all these laws. So everything to do with immigration, you have a problem with it, you need to start voting in new people. Because if you have a problem with what's going on right now, your problem needs to be with the elected officials who you keep electing year after year after year who pass these laws. So why not try to vote for some new people? Get some new blood up there. And then hey, if you fight hard enough and get somebody, and I mean by campaigning, if you fight hard enough campaigning and walking streets and knocking on doors and you get people out to vote and you win, then you get to shape legislation. But if you don't do that, then hey, you shouldn't be asking for violence against people who are just trying to do their jobs. And what irks me is even after you've got an agent that's shot at the other day, and I believe one illegal detainee was killed, and the ICE agents were trying to protect the illegal detainee. How crazy is this? Your Democrat voters out there are shooting up ICE vans and ICE vehicles and ICE detainment centers, trying to hit agents, and then they hit and kill an illegal alien. And who was protecting the illegal alien? ICE. I mean, you can't get any more ironic than that. The very people that the Democrats are telling you to hate were the people that were trying to save this illegal from being shot by this Democrat voter. And yes, I'll call him a Democrat voter because it wasn't a MAGA voter that went out and shot up that ICE detention center. But just look at what they were saying and look, I probably shouldn't say that, but it irks me because the rhetoric coming from the Democrats, there are some unstable people out there, and when they continue to hear Democrats say, look, you've got to fight. These are Gestapo. These are Nazis. These are black shirts and brown shirts, and they're rounding up innocent people. No, they're not. They're rounding up illegals, and most of these people are rapists. They're gangbangers. They've done some type of horrible crime, and they shouldn't be here. My goodness, the citizens should come first. But now, as if that wasn't enough, the shooting that happened the other day, now you've got a New Mexico Democrat that said, listen to this, ICE is acting like the KKK. Okay, she said this the same day a gunman opened fire on an ICE facility in Dallas that the gun was talking about. This lady is named this hurts me a little bit because this is just bad for my people. She's giving a bad example of my people. Her name is Representative Eleanor Chavez, and she represents some county out there in New Mexico. And during a committee, and she's a Democrat, and during a committee hearing, she despite some people around her telling her, hey, tone down the rhetoric. Oh, no, she's a Democrat. She can't do that. She sat there and this is what she said, and I'm quoting, I'm going to call it what it is. It's fascism. Now, there's your word, fascism. And ICE is acting like the KKK. This is Chavez said, we've got to stop those employees who are collaborating with ICE. We've got to stop them. Now, if you're on the verge of psychosis and you're just a mentally disturbed person out there and you're supporting the Democrat Party and you're hearing this kind of rhetoric, and she goes exactly after the employees, the very people that I'm talking about, the men and women who just get up in the morning, they put on a uniform because they're hired to do a job that was passed and funded by your legislators. The Democrats and Republicans that are in Washington, they're the ones who passed the laws. They're the ones who passed immigration laws. They're the ones who fund this. All these poor men and women, they're just the employee. And this lady she put a target on their backs because she said, we've got to stop those employees who are collaborating with ICE. We've got to stop them. How do you stop them? Oh, well, I guess you shoot at them. I mean, this is the kind of rhetoric that's coming from the left that has to stop. And she's giving my people a bad name because clearly Eleanor Chavez is Hispanic. And I don't like it when other Hispanics give my people a bad name. I just don't like it. So I'm going to call her out. And how crazy is it that she compares them to the KKK? I would like to remind Democrat elected official Chavez of which party. Let's have a quiz. And if you know the answer, call 404-741-1230. Which party founded the KKK? Which party in our country? Look, folks, there's only two answers. There's only two parties, and one of them created the KKK. And if you know, give us a call, 404-741-1230. Be a part of the show. Or if you want to be a part of the show, 404-741-1230. So how crazy is that? She compares them to the KKK. It just blows my mind that these people get away with this stuff, but they really need to tone it down because they're causing this violence that's happening right now. And it just really, 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 really ticks me off. And I don't like my fellow Hispanics giving us a bad name. I just don't like it. So, all right, folks. I got a little bit of time left, but I'm going to go ahead and start this. I want to talk about Hegseth. I got to talk about the speech he gave today. Any of you out there who's still on this kick like the Democrats are, Hegseth was a talk show guy on TV. No, Hegseth is a very, very well-trained military veteran. And I don't think I would want anybody else heading up the Department of War. This guy is doing a fantastic job. Now, again, is he going to be perfect and get everything right? Of course not. He's only human. But Hegseth, my goodness, this guy is a battle-tested warrior. In fact, I can hear it in the background. And Founder, you can turn this up a little bit as we go into the break here. Folks, this is the warrior song. If this doesn't fire you up as an American, I don't know. You're just not human. But when we come back, this warrior song, you just remember this song because I'm going to talk about Pete Hegseth and what he talked about today in front of a bunch of generals. It was very, very, very impressive. It was a great speech. And if that doesn't fire you up, I don't know what will. But I'll tell you what it does do. It puts fear into any adversary outside of this country, and it'll make them think twice before they even think about doing something to the United States and our people here. So, folks, stay tuned and come back. This is Victor Armendariz.
The Kimmer Show is live on your ride home on WFOM and W292 EV Marietta on Dickey Broadcasting Station, Extra 106.3.
Last-ditch efforts on Capitol Hill. Elisa Brady, Fox News. The U.S. Senate set to hold test votes on short-term spending bills from Democrats and Republicans that would avoid a government shutdown tonight. But neither is believed to have the 60 votes needed to advance.
Republicans have until midnight to cut the garbage and get serious with us about solving the health care crisis.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer blames Republicans for refusing to negotiate on policy differences. President Trump says Democrats want to fund left-wing priorities.
No country can afford to pay for illegal immigration, health care for everybody that comes into the country, and that's what they're insisting. And obviously I have an obligation to not accept that.
If a shutdown happens, some key government functions would continue, including air traffic control, though the FAA says they'd be temporarily unpaid and thousands of other employees will be furloughed. Change is coming in the U.S. military.
With top military leaders gathered at Quantico, Virginia, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth says every military combat MOS and combat arms position will return to the highest male standard only.
At every level,
Either you can meet the standard, either you can do the job, either you are disciplined, fit, and trained, or you are out.
It's part of the sweeping changes announced by the Trump administration to make the military more lethal. Included is reducing restrictions on drill sergeants to, quote, ensure that future warfighters are forged.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz. President Trump also part of that Quantico meeting, defending his deployment of the National Guard for a federal crime crackdown and saying he told Hegseth he should use American cities for military training. No word yet of Hamas responding to the new U.S. peace plan for Gaza, but multiple countries are supporting it, including Italy, where the prime minister is now urging an international aid flotilla to stop its mission, warning that efforts to breach an Israeli blockade could disrupt peace efforts. America is listening to Fox News.
Heroes like Austin Reese have paid a high price for our freedom. Austin served 3 deployments to Iraq. He spent 13 years with the Navy Explosive Ordnance Disposal Unit and became a military freefall instructor. But in what was thought to be a routine jump, something went terribly wrong. Austin was left paralyzed. Tunnel to Towers built Austin a specially adapted smart home. Help heroes. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S, ethos.com/Mike.
Hey, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Kimmer Show, 106.3, and I am Victor Armendariz, your Mexican, not afraid to be American, filling in for the Kimmer. Just a big shout out to Kimmer, man. He's that Warrior song was partially for Kimmer too, because he's probably the one of the best Marines I know. Well, I don't really know him that well, but I hope to one day. But it's just an honor to be here. So big thanks again. I love it. I love talking to you guys. And if you want to find out more about me, I have a show. It's called Victor Armendariz Show on 95.1 Talk of the Mountains. You guys can find me on social media. Just spell the name right. Armendariz. And find me on all those social media places that I told you not to go to. I just be honest with you folks. I don't like social media, but I have to be there. And I'd appreciate it if you guys find me and follow me there. It'd be awesome. So I want to talk a little bit more about Hegseth. And it's just funny because I'm looking up at Fox News. I try to keep an eye on CNN. I try to keep an eye on MSNBC, and I try to keep an eye on CNN. Well, all of them. And right now on Fox News, they're showing Hegseth and that speech he gave today. And here's what I love about Hegseth. Hegseth doesn't just get behind the podium and read some boring speech and talk and just read from a teleprompter. He walks around. He makes eye contact. He's looking at, and this was a room full of generals. I mean, Donald Trump was there. President Trump was there, but this really was Hegseth's day. This was Hegseth's show. And while President Trump made some really good remarks, it was Hegseth that really made the day. It was the words of Hegseth that's going to ring true to the adversaries out there. And what I mentioned before, China's not our friend. Russia's not our friend. North Korea is not our friend. China has been at war with us for years. Nobody wants to admit it. Your Democrats don't want to admit it. They're making too much money off of them. Some of your Republican establishment members don't want to admit it because they're making money off China. But at some point, you're going to realize that China's been at war with us, and we better start treating it that way. We need to get there's no way that we should be relying on China for any of our medical needs. We found out the hard way during COVID that we are way dependent on China. Ladies and gentlemen, China is a communist nation. They may act like they have some type of capitalism. They may pretend to have some capitalism. They may allow some of their citizens to partake in quasi-capitalism, but make no mistake, that is a communist regime over there. They rule by an iron thumb. And China wants to be the world power. China would love to be the world's reserve currency. They want Chinese currency to be the reserve currency. If that ever happens, then we'd be in big trouble. But at least with Donald Trump at the helm, that's not going to happen because Donald Trump has this economy. Listen, I know there are hard parts of this economy right now, and depending on where you are in the economy, things aren't easy for you right now. But when you have 4 years of the dementia patient, the auto pin, and Cackling Harris, the amount of damage that they did in really 3.5 years, it was a lot of damage that they did. So you can't just trying to expect Donald Trump to turn this economy around with a snap of a thumb. That's like trying to take a big cargo tanker ship or just a cargo ship and thinking that you can do a 180 with that thing and put up a big wake. No, that thing's going to take a friggin' hour to turn around. So you put that into the aspect of how big the economy is and how intricate the economy is. You can't just turn this economy around on a dime. Now, Donald Trump has done amazing in 8 months or whatever it's been that he's been in office, and things are happening. So by the time we get into next year, and by the time, I think by the time we get to summer next year, we're going to be booming. We're going to be in a booming cycle. I think Trump will work through this tariff stuff, and I think tariffs will start to come down. And when they do, you want to talk about a rocket ship. This economy is going to rocket ship forward. So be ready for that, folks. Be ready. Be positive because it's coming. It's coming. You're going to be fine. You may be struggling a little bit now, but if you can hang in there and keep a positive view on things, better times are coming. They really are. Donald Trump calls it a golden age. He's probably not wrong. I mean, there is a golden age upon us because this economy is going to rocket ship forward. It's going to be fantastic. In fact, just today, the stock market hit another high. Now, I know the stock market is not a true gauge on the economy, but it sure doesn't hurt when we hit another record high. And so for those of you, and listen, a lot of regular folks out there, they participate in some type of 401k. And if you're in a 401k or some type of IRA or a Roth IRA, and if you are listening to me right now and you're in your 20s and you haven't opened a Roth, at the very minimum, you haven't opened a Roth, I encourage you to do so. I'm not going to give you advice. I'm not a financial guy, but I'm just telling you from my opinion. If I were in my 20s, I'd open more than one Roth account. But many Americans all over the whatever income level you're at, you're in the market because you participate in a 401k or you participate in an IRA or you participate in a Roth. And right now, today, the market closed at another record high. That's amazing. And this is happening because Donald Trump is putting good things in motion and the market's looking to the future. A lot of the market is based on futures, and right now you've got energy costs coming down. You've got the cost of doing business is starting to come down because a big part of why you are paying more for things that necessities for life under Biden and the auto pin and Kamala is because they drove up the price of energy. They drove up every aspect of the cost of energy, and that will raise prices more than anything. And that's where a lot of inflation is caused because government spending and government driving up energy. And so Donald Trump is doing things to get that down, and that's why you're starting to see things starting to level out. You're starting to see things really calm and even be reduced. I mean, gas prices. I paid $2.64 for gas the other day. At $2.64. Now, I want it to get down. I'd love to see it down to $1.50. Because I like to drive big V8s. I'm an American, and I like to drive V8s. There's nothing like the sound of a sweet V8. And I love to I don't buy cars because of gas mileage. So I really like it when gas is low. And right now, under Donald Trump, gas is dropping. So these are all good things that are happening. You have lots of reason to be positive. And another reason to be positive is we've got Pete Hegseth heading up the Department of War. And again, it's not called Department of War because they want to scare the American people. It's called the Department of War because they want to scare and put fear into China, into Russia, into North Korea, into Iran. And what Pete Hegseth did today was he basically looked at the generals and said, the days of DEI are over. The days of dudes coming into the military and dressing up like women and placing recruitment ads. Do you want to know why the listen? I say what you will about masculinity, but there's no such thing as toxic masculinity. That's ridiculous. That's a Democrat talking point. When you talk about the Army, the Navy, the Marines, the Guard, when you're the Air Force, when you're talking about our military, they are, look, the military has a job, and that job is to respond to when our adversaries go too far and they attack somebody, they attack us, they attack an American overseas, they attack our interest. Then it's up to our military to put the fear of God into the adversaries. And what was happening under the dementia patient, the auto pen, and cackling Kamala? What was happening? You had dudes putting on wigs and dresses and trying to recruit for the Army. And they were surprised when the recruitment was at an all-time low under Biden. Recruitment for our Army, for our Air Force, for our Navy, for our Marines, for the Guard. The recruitment was at historic lows. Well, what do you expect? And what do you think China was doing? What do you think Russia was doing? What do you think North Korea? What do you think Iran was doing? Do you think they were scared? Do you think that dudes dressing up as women? Look, if you're a dude and you dress up like a woman, knock yourself out. I don't have a problem with it. You live your life. Just don't try to force me to defy science. But look, really, I don't mind. You can live how you want. I want you to live your best life, no matter what. Just don't be an activist. You don't have to be an activist about everything. You know, your life will be better if you just live it and be happy. But when you're talking about the military that's supposed to put fear into adversaries, you're not really going to put fear in them when you've got ads running of dudes dressed up like women. I'm sorry. I mean, you're not going to frolic around and go join the Army. Woohoo! It's just not going to happen. And I know Media Matters is going to hate that, but I don't care. I am the Mexicano, not afraid to be Americano. But I tell you, folks, it's great. So when we come back, I want you to hear a few things that the Hegseth said, and it's just great. The message that he had, it's bringing strength to this nation, which is what we need. So we'll be right back, folks. Don't go anywhere.
When conflicts escalate around the world, don't let the mainstream media scare you into believing their narrative. Get it right with Atlanta's only conservative voice. And trust the Morning Extra, Glenn Beck, Clay and Buck, The Kimmer Show, and our entire lineup to give it to you straight. Don't buy the fear. Just keep it here. Extra 106.3 FM and the all-new Extra app.
Well, you know, Peach State Windows is going to have to get a bigger bumper sticker. Not only Peach State Windows, and of course, I know Jeff and the family worked with them 25 years ago, but they also specialize in siding, and I'm a Hardy Plank fan. But guess what? I should mention this too. Great time of year to be outside on your deck. And if you have a deck been there for a while, it may not pass a safety inspection. Peach State Windows can give you a safety inspection for your deck. Fix it, repair it, whatever, too. So, boy, not only is it Peach State Windows, and they're the double hung special vinyl things, you know, energy efficient, the whole deal. They also check things if your door, your roof is going on, and the siding, and checking your deck. PeachStateWindows.com.
Hi, I'm Chris Lalamia, owner of the Trusted Toolbox. Are home repairs piling up? Are you feeling overwhelmed? Relax. We've got you covered. From drywall dings and leaky faucets to deck repairs and trim replacement, we're your one-stop shop for everything for your home needs. No more juggling multiple contractors. Just call us at the Trusted Toolbox and we'll handle it. Your home deserves the best, and we don't want you breaking your back trying. Call the Trusted Toolbox today at 770-623-3097 or visit us at thetrustedtoolbox.com. The Trusted Toolbox, your one-stop shop for home repairs and more.
Hey, it's Los. We're here with Tom Mitchell, the honest car guy. Tom, I'm looking for a reliable vehicle, something for the family, but also for my daughter who's going to be driving soon. Why should I call you?
The main thing is you get to see it's a full transparency sale. What I like to do is show you the whole gamut, show you everything that's out there and everything that's available. I can get any make, any year, any model.
Financing. If I need to use it, what can you offer?
We have some of the best banks available, and we got rates starting at 4.99 from a 23 model and above. It could be a 14 model. We still have banks that will do all the financing for you at good rates, and they're primary banks. If you have credit issues,
we still have banks that can accommodate those issues as well.
Friends, if you're in the market for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, get an honest car buy from the Honest Car Guy. You pay what we pay, plus an honest fee, and we back that up by giving you the bill of sale. That's our transparency guarantee. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1, or visit honestcarguy.com.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want to boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Turn things all the way up and find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy.
Hey, folks, welcome back. Welcome back. It's the Victor Armendariz in for the Kimmer. If you folks watching on the webcams, if you're wondering why I keep standing up and stretching, well, here's the thing. I'm on the wrong side of old, but yet I still play soccer. And I have a game tonight. So when I get off the air, I am going to go run and play at the Atlanta Silverbacks. If you guys aren't familiar with the Atlanta Silverbacks, you really ought to get out there. It's a great facility. Just awesome place. They got a little stadium. They've got a bunch of soccer fields, and they have different divisions. And I have no business playing, but I do anyway. But I have wonderful, wonderful team. And listen, here's the other thing too. Since I talk politics, not everybody on the team is going to agree with me. I know they don't, but we get along. They're wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people, and I'm just so happy to be a part of the team. And it's called the Corgis. So if you're out there and you know anybody that plays on the Corgis, a shout out to them because and if any Corgis are listening right now, I'm really going to try hard. I'm kind of far away at the studio, but when I get out, I'm going to run and see if I can't at least contribute something to the game tonight. Folks, listen, I'm not kidding. I'm on the wrong side of old, and I got lots of injuries. I used to race motocross. And that will do, my goodness, the things that'll do to your body. But I wouldn't change a thing. I still ride motocross. It's a blast. So, okay. So I want to jump into this. I was talking about Hegseth when we got out, in the last segment. I want you guys to hear some of the things he said because, again, you got to understand what Hegseth is doing. And again, when he talks about Department of War, Hegseth is not saying this because he wants to put fear in the American people. They want to put fear in our adversaries. We're talking about China. We're talking about Iran. We're talking about North Korea. We're talking about Russia. And listen, if you don't believe there's an evil axis out there, there is an evil axis out there, folks. If you don't know what an evil axis is, go do some research. Listen, history will do you well. History will help your brain. Go read about World War II. That was an ugly axis that formed in Europe that killed lots of people. And we have a new axis forming now. It's China, it's Russia, it's North Korea, and it's Iran. And if we abandon the world stage as a country and we allow we play footsies with those countries and allow them to start doing some really bad things and really we can't allow them to get to a point where they're going to be able to harm people, and that's what the road they're on, which is why we had to take out Iran's nuclear capabilities. Trust me, folks, you don't want a country that chants death to America. They don't care if you're Democrat. They don't care if you're Republican. They don't care if you're white, black, brown, yellow. They don't care. The Iranian regime looks at Americans as Americans. I wish we looked at each other as brethren Americans. It would be great if this country of Democrats and Republicans could all look at each other and go, you know what? We have something in common. We're all Americans. Let's all be Americans and at least try to get along. Now, we may disagree on policy, but we don't have to call each other names. We don't have to call each other evil, terrible people. We can actually talk and let's do what's right for the American people. It'd be great if we had politicians like that. And maybe one day we'll get to that point. But until then, we really have to make sure that we're not letting our adversaries get a leg up on the United States. And so that's what Pete Hegseth is doing with this Department of War. So Flounder, if you've got, I think you got a soundbite over there, number 2. So listen to this, folks. Oh, go ahead.
Number 2, here we go.
Yeah. This administration has done a great deal from day one to remove the social justice, politically correct, and toxic ideological garbage that had infected our department, to rip out the politics. No more identity months, DEI offices, dudes in dresses. No more climate change worship. No more division, distraction, or gender delusions. No more debris. As I've said before, and will say again, we are done with that.
So you see what he's saying there, folks. And listen, trust me when I tell you, Pete Hegseth is not trying to offend anyone. I'm sitting here and I don't want to offend anyone. But if you think the military, the Army, the Marines, the Navy, the Air Force, the Guard, if you think their job is some kind of social experiment, well, then you don't understand what the military is. The military, whether you like it or not, has one mission. And that's to break things, burn things, blow stuff up if the need arises. That's what the military, the purpose of the military. You want to have a military that's so strong and so feared that our adversaries wouldn't dare challenge us. And if they don't challenge, then we have peace. Everything that, and look, whether you hate Trump or you love Trump, whatever, the man really is advocating for peace. And if you just look at history, Donald Trump was the first American president in my lifetime that did not get us into a new war. Now, I know a lot of you leftists out there, a lot of you Democrats who think for some reason you're married to the Democrat Party, you may think you're anti-war. Well, if you're anti-war, then President Trump is your guy. And you can look this up. Listen, everything I tell you, you can verify for yourself. Everything I tell you, you can verify for yourself. Donald Trump is the only president in my lifetime that has not gotten us into a new conflict. I'm not saying he didn't have to go blow up some nuclear site. I'm not saying he didn't have to respond, but he didn't start a new war. No, Biden, listen, Biden, the Autopin, and Cackling Harris cannot say that. They allowed Russia to attack Ukraine. Obama can't say that. Obama allowed Russia to attack Ukraine. Do you not find, listen, folks, listen, just please listen to me. This just take your emotions out of this. Take your emotions out. Take the D's and R's out of this. Let's just deal with facts. Do you think it's any coincidence that under George W. Bush, Russia went in and annexed Crimea? Under Obama, Russia went in and further aggression against Ukraine. Under Trump, first term, Russia didn't do anything. Russia stayed silent. Along comes Biden and Cackling Harris, and Russia attacks Ukraine even more, and still going on today. And you got Donald Trump trying to stop it. That's an example right there, folks. I just named Bush, I named Obama, I named Biden. All three of them got us into new conflicts and further the conflict. And then in between those guys, you had Bush, you had Obama, and then you had Trump, and you had Biden. The only 4 years there wasn't a new war started was under President Donald J. Trump. So this is why I tell you, if you're anti-war, your guy is President Trump. Because he's really, he's the only one out there, at least that I know in my lifetime, and Flounder, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe he's the only president in our modern lifetime that hasn't got us into a new conflict.
And he's about to get us out of 2.
Oh, and how many has he gotten us out of?
7, I want to say.
I believe it's 7. So thank you, Flounder, for that, because I forgot about that. So not only has Donald Trump not gotten us into a new conflict, up to this date, and listen, I understand if you're a Democrat and you're listening to me right now and you don't know this, I understand, because you're not going to hear this on CNN, you're not going to hear this on MSNBC or ABC or CBS or NBC or PBS or NPR. You're not going to hear this. But I, Victor Armendariz, the Mexican not afraid to be American, I'm going to tell you. It's the truth, and you can verify it. But as Flounder said, 7 conflicts, there were 7 wars going on. And in 8 months, Donald Trump has brought peace. He's negotiated a peace deal with 7 different conflicts going on. Biden didn't do that. Obama didn't do that. George W. Bush didn't do that. The first Bush didn't do that. So, I mean, folks, you cannot counter my argument here. You just can't. You can try. And listen, if you want, there's still time if you want to be part of the show. 404-741-1230. 404-741-1230. Look, give me a call, especially if you disagree. If you disagree with me, you'll go straight to the top of the list. You'll go straight to the list. So, but this is just, I'm just telling you the truth, folks, because I can speak to you this because I'm not married to the letter D and I'm not married to the letter R. I look at what's best for this country. And whether you like Trump or not, it doesn't matter. You need to look at the policies and you need to look at the actions. And for actions, Donald Trump has ended 7 wars. He's brought some type of peace deal to 7 wars. And he's really, really trying hard to end the Ukraine-Russia war. I mean, there's so many innocent people dying in that war. It's awful. It's awful what's happening. Folks, Ukraine is an amazing, amazing country. The Ukraine is beautiful, and I'd love to visit it one day. I would love to see Ukraine one day. My daughter has Ukrainian blood in her, and I want her to see. I want her to visit where her history, part of her history comes from. And to do that, they need to stop fighting because we're not going to go visit Ukraine. I'm not some Hollywood star that is going to be allowed and have a gazillion their own personal army to protect them when they go gallivanting around Ukraine for a photo op. I can't do that. So I want that war to end, but I really want it to end because I want lives to be saved. I mean, needless death? Why? And Donald Trump, have you ever heard Biden or Cackling Harris or Obama or even some of the other past presidents, have you ever heard them talk about saving lives the way Donald Trump does? And again, take your emotions out. Stop letting your emotions rule your day or your life. You've got to step back and let common sense, let logic, let that guide you. And if you just step back, you cannot defeat my argument. Donald J. Trump, President Trump, speaks more about saving lives than any president I've ever heard. So it's really something to see. And that's why I get people that ask me sometimes, even on my soccer team, how can you support Trump? You're Hispanic, da, 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 da. Well, look, I'm not the only one. A record number of Hispanics voted for Donald J. Trump in 2024. And there's a reason that. And I think going forward, even more Hispanics are going to vote for the Republican Party. Because the Republican Party now, today, it's the party of the working man. It's the party of safety. It's the party of getting crime off the streets. The Republican Party is the party of peace on the world stage. It really is. And you've got to drop everything that you've been brainwashed. I mean, a lot of you have. Trust me, I was there. I was once there. I was told all my life I had to be a Democrat. And it really took me to start doing my own investigation and my own readings to really kind of go step back and go, hey, I'm not really a Democrat, not today's Democrat. So, all right, folks, my goodness, this is flying by. Listen, if you want to be part of the show, 404-741-1230, 404-741-1230. When we come back, I'll try to get to a couple more calls, but I got to talk about the shutdown that's looming tonight. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Extra 106.3 has the biggest lineup of conservative voices all week, and we're loaded with live and local programming every weekend. The All Four Seasons Home Show, Back Your Blue, Ben Burnett, Janelle King, and NASCAR on Sundays. See the full weekend lineup at extra1063.com and stream it free on the Extra app.
You know, I was looking through my stuff again, getting ready for my daughter Jennifer to come visit to see what stuff she wants to keep when I'm long gone. You know. Anyway, and it just reminds me, if I didn't have someplace to keep things like this safe, you're really taking a risk. And we've seen the, floods and fires and hurricanes and good grief, and all that kind of stuff. Well, Atlanta's Safe House, I learned a lesson when I retired, went to Florida, didn't have my safes down there and lost my medical records. Well, now my daughter's going to know where my living will is, which is the number one thing. Also, whatever financial records I might have left and stuff like that. Plus, don't forget Atlanta Safe House. All those gun safes, no sales tax. You don't have to pay the sales tax. And I should also mention, they rent safes if you're going away for the summer or taking a trip, or in fact, you want to rent a pistol safe. I mean, I don't know. They can do anything you want. They got almost 200 of them right there on display. Jeff and Mark, Pro-America Company. They'll never give up your master reset code and protect your stuff, for that is for sure. Atlanta Safe House, they have a showroom in Acworth on Industrial Boulevard. Please tell them the Kimmer sent you when you check them out. AtlantaSafeHouse.com.
Hey, Braves fans, some things just get better with time, like your love for the Braves and banking with Truist One Checking. It's checking for life, offering everyday essentials like no overdraft fees and a tap-to-pay debit card, and great extras you'll appreciate season after season, like automatic upgrades as your balances grow. Be ready every inning with Truist One Checking. It's life-ready checking that grows with you. Get Truist One Checking today. Truist Bank. Member FDIC.
I enjoy a good night's sleep, and I like to breathe while I'm sleeping. My wife appreciates that, too. That's why I wear a CPAP. You want the right machine. You want expert advice. You want all the supplies that go with it. You get it all at CPAPs, etc. in Alpharetta. Machines, masks, tubing, filters, cleaning supplies, all of it, and they ship nationwide. Walk-ins, by the way, are welcome. CPAPs, etc. Alpharetta, CPAPSETC.com.
Pete Davis here, and football is in full swing. And Underdog is the best place to make picks and win money all season long. And the best part, you can play right now here in Georgia. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite player is going to go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, passing yards, interceptions, and more. Get your picks right, you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. I play too. This season, I'm looking at Michael Penix Jr. to go higher on touchdown projections and Drake London to go higher on receiving yards. It's simple, it's fun, and it keeps me locked into every play. Download the app today. Sign up with promo code 1063 to score $100 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code 1063. Underdog. Make picks. Win money.
Must be 18 plus and present in Georgia. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
According to the FBI statistics, less than 0.01% of all altercations require a lethal response. Think about that. We all have a safety plan and includes firearms, but that's only necessary less than 1% of the time. So what's your plan for 99.99% of the time? Start with Byrna, BYRNA. The Byrna less lethal launcher can de-escalate a situation with the firepower necessary to incapacitate attackers for up to 40 minutes. I carry one myself. Every family member connected to me has a Byrna launcher. The new Byrna Compact is the world's smallest, less lethal pistol. It's concealable anywhere. It fires powerful kinetic and tear gas rounds. It'll stop an attacker cold for up to 40 minutes. No background checks, and it's legal in all 50 states, and it ships straight to your door. Byrna has protection for every member of the family, from safety alarms to personal defense sprays, because your first line of defense should always be less lethal. Visit Byrna.com today and find the right launcher for your family. Byrna, BYRNA.com.
From the latest breaking news to the conservative voices you know and trust, your best new follow on social media is Extra 1063. We're at XTRA 1063 on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, and LinkedIn, and pretty much any social media you scroll through every day. And we drop exclusive giveaways, new daily content, and the latest breaking news from Georgia and across this great nation. Interact with your favorite Extra personalities. Get the latest on our live events and so much more. Follow at Extra 1063 across all your social media and keep up with Atlanta's only conservative voice.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Victor Armendariz here with you, filling in for the Kimmer. One of the other things I like about Donald Trump, because when people ask me, I don't get this question like I used to, but I used to get, gosh, how can you support Trump? Oddly enough now, whether you want to admit it or not, his support is a lot higher, because I hardly ever get that question now. But one of the things I do like about him is he really has a great sense of humor. And unfortunately, a lot of you guys who don't know Trump and never get the chance to see this side of Trump, he really does have a great sense of humor. In fact, hey, Flounder, can you hit soundbite number 5? Listen to this, folks, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
We'll get it down even further. But insulin was, people weren't taking it, I would imagine. They couldn't take it. God bless you, Bobby. I hope I didn't catch COVID just there. Don't you have Paxlovid? He's got Paxlovid. Give me a Paxlovid immediately.
I mean, folks, come on. I mean, you get to. He's very good on his feet, and he is a funny guy, and he's got a great sense of humor. And that was it's. You could hear it there, but basically he was speaking about the today they made some record achievement in getting drug prices reduced, which is going to mean a lot for elders. It really, really is. And again, there's Donald Trump fighting for something that's actually going to affect people in this country. The citizen, he's actually doing something that is going to help the elder population, because if drug prices cost less, that's good for so many elders that have to have some type of medication, especially if you're a cancer survivor, if you're dealing with lots of these diseases that are out there, and you're on medication and you're on a fixed income. My goodness, what Donald Trump was able to achieve today is a very good thing. And if you're a leftist or a Democrat, or you're married to the Democrat Party, if you can't stop and go, okay, I may not like what's going on, I didn't vote for you, but thank you for getting drug prices down. If you can't do that, then you really need to re-examine. You need to look in the mirror and re-examine yourself, because if something Donald Trump does works and it gets cost, I don't know if enough of you understand that there are many elderly people in this country that are on a fixed income, and because the Democrats love taxes, they tax the crap out of fixed incomes. You know, when you're living on Social Security, you pay taxes on that money all your life. All your working life, you paid money on Social Security. So when you reach that golden age of 70 or whatever, 72, whatever it is, and you just want to relax and just live on the money that you earned and you were taxed on, and you get that little bitty check from the government, that's Social Security, and then they go and tax it again, how on earth does that make sense? And it's the Democrat Party that is constantly raising taxes on Social Security. Just go back and look at the Clinton administration. I don't know. You can't tell me that you fight for the elderly and then you also raise their taxes. It's ridiculous. No one should pay taxes on Social Security. Once you start receiving Social Security, you should pay no tax on it. Now, who was it? Gosh, Flounder, who was it that said they're going to advocate for no taxes on Social Security?
Trump.
That would be President Trump. So again, here's just another example for you. And I'm just talking to you guys out there that are so married to one side that you can't see some of the good that Donald Trump is doing. You don't have to like Donald Trump. You don't have to love him. But at least recognize when he's actually helping people and not taxing elderly Social Security check. The Democrats didn't come up with that idea. The Democrats never offered that. The Democrats have been in power just as much as long, if not longer, than, in fact, Democrats, if you look at the history, the last 100 years of this country, Democrats have had way more power. And they didn't come up with say, gosh, you know, elderly folks, we taxed you all your life. We're not going to tax you to take Social Security. It wasn't the Democrats who proposed that. It was Donald Trump. And you know who's fighting Donald Trump? Who is fighting Donald Trump all the way about taxing Social Security? It's the Democrats. But I think in that big, beautiful bill that was passed that they are going to start not taxing Social Security, or at least parts of it. So we need to reach a time to where there is no tax on Social Security, when there's no death tax. How does that make sense? You work all your life and you save money so that your kids will have something when you're gone, and then when you die, they go tax the crap out of what you left so that your kids can't have it. That's your government, folks. And that's the Democrats. The Democrats love taxes. And every time the Republicans come along and try to say, hey, we need to reduce taxes, or we need to get rid of this tax, there should be no death tax. There should be no Social Security tax. And you know there's an easy solution to all of this. We need to just change our tax code. We need to drop the federal income tax and go to a national consumption tax. That's all we need to do. Some of you in Georgia, you guys know this as the fair tax. And I am going to do some segments on the fair tax this week, and maybe we'll do it on Friday because that's Neil Borch Day. We'll just call it Neil Borch Day. But if you're in Georgia, you should know about the fair tax. And the easiest way, you realize that what Donald Trump is trying to achieve with tariffs could pretty much be done if we just enacted the fair tax. We could just go to zero trade. We wouldn't have to worry about tariffs. Donald Trump wouldn't have to do any of that if we just switched and dropped the federal income tax and went to a consumption tax, which would be the fair tax, which is known in Georgia as the fair tax. If you want to learn more about it, go to fairtax.org, fairtax.org. I promise you, listen, I want to assign some homework. If you're listening to me right now, I want you to go visit the fairtax.org, and I want you to read it. If you can, read it tonight, and you come back and you call me tomorrow and you tell me that's not the best plan that could ever be implemented in this country. And like I said, the things that Donald Trump and Scott Bessent are trying to achieve through tariffs, they could achieve through implementing of the fair tax. The only difference is we have to have it legislatively. You can't just decree the fair tax. You can't executive order in the fair tax. I wish we could, but we can't. But it needs to be done legislatively. And so we need to start demanding that our representatives support the fair tax. Because in fact, if you don't like tariffs, if you like Trump but you don't like tariffs, you know how to get rid of tariffs? Implement the fair tax. Implement the fair tax. So go home tonight when you get home, or when you've got some time, if you're already home, look up fairtax.org, and you read about it, and then you come tell me tomorrow that's not the best plan out there for this country. It would do more to put freedom back into the hands of the American people than any legislation that's ever been passed. It's just an amazing, amazing thing, folks, and that's what we need. So that's how to solve many, many, many problems in this country. Would be easy to solve. Just implement the fair tax. So that's what we need to do. Okay, so before we get out of here tonight, I want to talk about the shutdown. So there's a government shutdown looming. Now, me personally, bring on the government shutdown because if the government shuts down, then they can't do as much harm to us. And look, this is where you're going to learn that I'm not a sycophant for any party. I like it when Democrats and Republicans that sit there in Washington and all their bureaucrats, I like it when they can't harm us anymore. And when you shut down the government, they can't harm us. I mean, they get real restrictive of what they can do to we the people. And trust me, they don't look at us as we the people. They look at us as we the peasants. Too many politicians that are up there in Washington that have been there. Look, Bernie Sanders, what is he, 150? My goodness, Pelosi, I think she's had about as many facelifts as she is old. And I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm sorry. If you mandate that a pilot or most private sector employees, if you pretty much mandate that they have to retire at 65 or 70, how come we don't mandate our politicians? Folks, they work for us. They work for us. Why don't we mandate that a politician, when they reach the age of, I'll be graceful, let's say 70. When you reach the age of 70, you need to retire. You need to be gone. You shouldn't run anymore. Now, you're probably saying, well, Victor, they'll never pass that. They don't have to. We, the people, have the greatest power on the planet, and that power is our vote. If we, the people, would just go say, okay, Mr. Politician, you've been there, and you're now 70 years old. You've been there for half of your life. We're going to vote you out. Doesn't mean you have to vote in the other party. It just means you need to find somebody within that party you support and have a new, younger person take over. Because, again, if the rest of us have to retire when we reach 70 or so, then why not the politicians? It is ridiculous that we allow politicians to stay in office well into their 90s. And if they could, they'd do it into their hundreds if they could stay alive long enough. They would do it because they're getting power and they're making money. And we shouldn't allow that to happen. The politicians shouldn't be able to do that if we can't do it. So I'm telling you, folks, this is stuff that you won't hear anything else, but it'll probably make you go, that Victor, boy, he's making some points. Well, I am making some points. So we got this shutdown. So we're when we get back from this next break, I'll get into a little bit because the shutdown is looming. Folks, it's not the end of the world if the government shuts down. It really isn't. Everybody's going to get paid. They may have a delay, which stinks, but they will get paid. So it's not the end of the world. Don't stress about it. And when we come back, I'm going to tell you why.
than just headlines on your ride to work? It's the Morning Extra, live from 6 to 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, only on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
A company that has been trusted in Atlanta for over 25 years has already done their hometown homework, like having the very best people, fair, honest pricing, exceptional customer service, and a focus on high-quality work. That's us. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons Garage, Entry Doors, and Windows. Sometimes new isn't better, like out-of-town home improvement companies invading Atlanta with their inflated pricing and subpar work. When trust matters, trust us. All the number 4 Seasons Garages.com.
Hey, this is John Flading. I'm the president and owner of ATL Turf Co. We are a family-owned, operated, independent local company. We have over 15 years of artificial grass design, installation, and sales experience. From premium artificial lawns and backyards, custom putting greens, sports fields, hardscape, drainage. We do both residential and commercial. If you can dream it, we can build it. Just go to atlturfco.com to schedule an appointment.
True Prep is your one-stop shop for emergency preparedness supplies, including freeze-dried food, water filtration, first aid, and more. They also have a large selection of firearms, including a huge selection of AR-15s, firearm accessories, and ammo at the lowest prices around. True Prep is locally owned and operated. The owners, Joey and Matthew, are Georgia Tech grads. Visit their store in Marietta on Cobb Parkway or online at trueprep.com. That's TRUprep.com. Prepare today for a worry-free tomorrow at True Prep.
Oh no, what is that sound?
It's our rejection detection system. It's showing that several men across Georgia are being denied intimacy by their partners due to ED.
How can this be?
Well, it's more common than you think. As men age, their bodies change. And unfortunately, once they get over 50, some things don't work like they used to.
So what do we do?
There's only one thing to do. We need to get them to Dr. Eric Deal at Total Body Therapy of Georgia. He can fix ED problems.
But how?
At Total Body Therapy of Georgia, they are experts in the P-shot, testosterone replacement, regenerative therapy, and Trimex to create an erection and more.
Hi, this is Dr. Eric Deal from Total Body Therapy of Georgia. Did you know that 50% of men over 50 struggle with some form of ED? Guys, it won't get better on its own. When it's not hard, it's really hard. But I can help you today. Call us at Total Body Therapy of Georgia at 404-777-1911 or learn more about us online at tbtofga.com.
It's the Kimmer Show. But I'm not the Kimmer. I'm Victor Armendariz, your Mexican, not afraid to be American. Happily filling in for the Kimmer all week, ladies and gentlemen. So if you didn't get enough of me today, well, tune back in tomorrow because you'll get more of me. So you listeners are amazing. You're just awesome. And you guys sure do find a way to find my contact information, either with email or through social media. But I've got a listener out there that's out in Tucker, Georgia, who... And this is a great point. And this listener said, not only do they tax Social Security, but then they penalize you if you do decide. So let's say if you do decide to go out and do extra work. Let's say you happen to be a very healthy 70-year-old. Let's just go with 70. Let's say you're healthy and you take Chuck Norris's sidekick drink, and you can still do a lot of good things. I mean, you're healthy. You can still walk and run and do all those things you want to do. And let's say you decide, I want to go work. I'm going to go work at Home Depot. I have knowledge. I can go help people. Or I'm going to go work at Bass Pro Shop because I have knowledge of hunting, or I have knowledge of guns. I'm going to go work at a gun show, or I'm going to go work at, anything like that. Well, if you're receiving Social Security and you decide to go stay healthy by keep moving and keep working because you want to work and it should be your choice, what does the government do? They penalize you. So you worked all those years and earned Social Security, and then they not only do they tax you again, then they penalize you if you decide to go work a job or go use a skill and teach others and you get paid for it. They penalize you. And again, folks, it's the Democrats that are behind that. It is the Democrat Party. I'm sorry if no one else will tell you, but I will tell you that. Because if you propose any legislation that does away with the penalization of you working and getting Social Security, the Democrats will oppose it. If you are for getting taxes and stop taxing Social Security, the Democrats will fight you on it. Why is that? I would love somebody in the media. Why don't one of you people out there at the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, why don't one of you people out there be a journalist and get in front of some Democrats and ask them, why do you want to penalize Social Security recipients? Why do you want to tax Social Security? Come on, ask them. I dare you. Come on, do it. All right. So the shutdown. Folks, listen, there's a shutdown coming tonight if the Democrats want it. And make no mistake, the Republicans have already passed a continuing resolution to keep the government open, and the Democrats are blocking it. Make no mistake. This shutdown is going to be Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer is about to give you a big Chuck you, and I said Chuck with a C. Chuck you Schumer. That's what I call him, the little nickname I have for Chuck. But Chuck U. Schumer is about to give you the big middle finger because Schumer can vote on the House already. The Republican House passed a continuing resolution. All the Senate just has to agree. But Chuck Schumer's blocking it. And why is Chuck Schumer blocking it? Because Chuck Schumer is beholden. He's beholden to his hard left. Chuck Schumer, you want to know? Let me give you an example. Hey, Flounder, can we play soundbite number 1?
Absolutely.
Listen to this, folks. Listen to this old Chuck Schumer.
This is an anti-fraud amendment. Over where we go, people say, well, why can't you stop illegal immigrants or others from coming here? And the number one answer we give our constituents is when they come here, they can get jobs, get benefits against the law because of fraud. And here, the gentleman from Florida has put together the most effective anti-fraud measure we can find without it changing the actions of the government one bit. And we find all this opposition. Ladies and gentlemen of this chamber, what I worry about is that this bill, which started out with good intentions, whether you agree with it or disagree with it, is going to end up being the same kind of thing that the public gets angry with us on. We say we're doing something, and we do nothing. Because every time someone makes a rational and small proposal to get something done, people say, well, what about this hypothetical, that hypothetical, etc. I urge support of this amendment. If you believe you want to stop fraud in immigration, you have no choice but to support this amendment.
You think Chuck Schumer would say that today? Now, I'm not sure how many years ago, but that was a few years ago. And that was a Chuck Schumer that was secure in his position. Today is a Chuck Schumer who is so afraid of the left-wing progressive mob that's coming after him, led by AOC. Now, I'm going to laugh because I know this is coming. And you can say you heard it here first. You can say you heard it, that Victor Armendariz said it first. But Chuck Schumer right now is terrified of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez because AOC, she's coming for Chuck. Now, look, the media is going to tell you that AOC wants to run for president in 2028. I highly doubt she's going to do that. AOC wants to win. She wants power. And somebody's going to tell her, you're not going to win the presidency. Not saying she won't ever win it, but she's not going to win it in 2028. I mean,
good for the Democrats because they need younger faces.
Well,
similar like with the Republicans with J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio and people like that who are coming to the table now. Democrats need to do the same thing because, I mean, your Chuck Schumers, your Bernie Sanders.
The Pelosi's.
Yeah, exactly.
They're all, I think, 110.
I'm not sure I would recommend an AOC, but if that's who you're going to put up there, I mean.
Right. Well, I would love them to put her up.
Yeah, I mean, have at it. You're right.
Have you heard her speak and some of the...
Well, can you imagine her in a debate with either Marco Rubio or J.D. Vance?
Oh, my.
She would be destroyed.
I would love to see her debate Rubio just because she can't pull the "you racist" thing. That's what she'd say against J.D. But, J.D. Vance is... Folks, J.D. Vance is really, really smart dude. But Flounder's right, and I alluded that earlier. As a voter, you need to be voting all these old fogies out. We really do. I don't think anybody should be left in Congress for more than, say, 20 years. I mean, that's plenty of time. And you've got these, especially on the Democrat Party, my goodness, the people who lead that party. Right now, look at who's leading. Yeah, Donald Trump is leading the party, but really, we're already into his second term. We're almost 2 years. Well, we're a year in. We're going to be 2 years next year. Donald Trump's not going to be president again, but J.D. Vance probably will be, or Marco Rubio will be, or Ron DeSantis will be. All of those dudes are less than 50 years old. So the Republicans have an unbelievable bench and an unbelievable youth that is going to take over that party. Look at Ramaswamy, who's going to be the next Ohio governor. These are young, sharp minds in the Republican Party. And I don't have to mention look at Charlie Kirk's wife. If you don't think she has a future in politics, you're out of your mind. We have some very bright people on the conservative side, the young people that are coming up, and we need that, just like Flounder said. And look at the Democrats now. The Democrats aren't behind AOC because she's young. They're behind AOC because she's a socialist, progressive, leftist who's not afraid to say it. She's not hiding it, and she's got enough people behind her in New York to where she's able to do it. And Chuck Schumer, believe you me, folks, Chuck Schumer is so afraid because, and here's the thing, I don't think, when you see Alexandria Cortez have to answer real questions, she doesn't look good. That's why I don't think, even if she runs in 2028, she's going to lose to Newsom. Because Newsom, he's just as left moon batty as she is, but Newsom is a slick. You talk about Slick Willie when people refer to Clinton. No, you ain't seen nothing yet. Wait till you see Newsom. So Newsom right now, I think, is going to get the Democrat nomination for 2028. But what Alexandria Cortez is going to do, she's going to look over to old Chuck Schumer, and she's going to say, oh, I can beat you. I can beat you. And let me tell you something, folks. There's only 100 senators. Only 100. It is a very, very, next to the presidency, I mean, really, the Senate is the place to be. And trust me, Alexandria Cortez is, I think she's going to run for Senate, and she's going to knock Chuck Schumer out. And Chuck Schumer right now. So you heard the soundbite I played. That was old Chuck Schumer. Today, Chuck Schumer is afraid for his career because
That's
he's about to.
That's a good name, Chuck Schumer.
Yeah, Chuck Schumer. That is pretty good. Let's coin that. You heard that right here by Victor Armendariz. Suck Schumer, because he does suck. But he's afraid. He's afraid of his progressive left. They're going to knock him out. AOC's going to knock him out. So what is he doing now? He's going to shut the government down. Now, mind you, this is the Democrat Party that said that Trump is Hitler. The administration is Hitler. The second coming of Hitler is the Trump administration. And so they're saying, oh, well, how do we stop it? So the progressive left told Schumer, you better stop it by defunding the government. You've got to stop Donald Trump by shutting down the government. Okay. So what did oh my gosh, that Swalwell. There's another one. Holy cow. Swalwell's about as dumb as, here's a dude that was playing the horizontal mambo with a Chinese spy and didn't know it. Or maybe he did know it. Gosh, he might have known that. But Swalwell the other day said, well, we'll fund the government if you just give us money for illegal health care. I mean, if we pay illegals to have health care, if you just give us money so we can flood money into the health care system and include the non-citizen. He didn't say, let's pay for health care for the citizen. He wants money to pay for health care for the non-citizen. How does that make you feel as a citizen? It ought to piss you off. But what Swalwell's saying is we, the Democrats, will fund the guy that we're calling Hitler, the administration that we're telling you is a second coming of Hitler. Oh, we'll fund it if you just give us some money to spend. Does that make sense to you, ladies and gentlemen? And look, I'm not angry. I'm just right. Your Democrat Party is going to shut down the government. But if you give them $1 trillion, they'll open the government while telling you that government is Hitler. Does that make sense, folks? I want you to think about that. So until tomorrow, I want you to think about that, folks. Thank you, folks. It's been a great day. We'll be back tomorrow, so make sure you tune in 106.3.